Yeah, rocking down. I love that background music. What is up, everybody? It is another exciting episode on this titillating Tuesday night of the Professionals. I am Andy Smith, your host for the night. Like, subscribe, and share. Share this around, everybody. Let's get some people in here besides my fellow bros, which we're going to do. First, I'll say hi to some people that are here. Daniel Russell, hello. Joe Bernardo, Robert the Bruce. Oh, look at that, Fraga boom. Headless. I can't pronounce that last word. Come on, guys. I can't do more than a couple syllables. Citizen Ronan, Fritzy Schnitzel. Oh, Aaron Lepresti. Whoa. Robert the Bruce. Marcus is in the house, sleeping. Psychopathy. Randy Howell. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to bring in, that's right. You can laugh. That's fine. I still read the words that have the big letters and stuff when I read books that don't have pictures. I don't mind large type. It helps out. First in the house, he was here. I got into the room and this gentleman was already here waiting in the back room. He is looking fly. He is looking fresh. His name is the Boom, the Fraga Boom. Look at you. What's up?
Covering up all this nastiness. You guys want to see? Look at how gross.
Oh my God. Come on, bozo. Put that back on.
Look at that.
What are you doing?
Gross. I'm trying to look like Gandalf by Halloween. It's not going to work. But,
do we need to send you a razor or something? I mean, come on.
No. Hey, happy Tuesday, buddy.
Happy Tuesday. Are you literally growing that for Halloween for something? Or are you just lazy?
No, dude, I'm not cutting my hair. What do you mean lazy? It's so easy. It's so fucking easy to cut this hair.
Not when it gets longer like that. It takes a little more time. Just saying. Every other day at the razor, it's easy. You know, our next bro never has to worry about cutting his hair. In fact, when he finally passes on, we could probably dig him up in 20 or 30 years and his hair will probably still be growing. Isn't that right, Art? You bastard. Don't do it. Oh, you son of a...
man.
Just rubbing it in.
Look at all of that. Look at all of that, man.
No, it's a mane.
It's all white.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
I'm actually enjoying turning gray. You know? It's a lot of fun.
You know, my dad, I think when he was in his 30s, he was going white. He did a little salt and pepper, but he went full Steve Martin on us.
That's crazy. I know some people like that. Yeah. You go, what the heck?
I think I'd rather have gone that way than in my mid-20s this way. So
that was your mid-20s? Oh man. I knew a guy lost his hair in high school.
Yeah, I knew a guy too. He started horseshoeing and
my grandfather lost it when he was about 19, 20. So something like that. But our next guest still has hair. He's not even at his chair. Should I bring in an empty chair or should I skip ahead to somebody who's actually sitting at their chair? Oh, he's back. Oh, now he's just giving us. Hold on. You know what?
Is he doing the
finger? What are you doing, Teen Sensation? Get off your knees. Oh, no. Another bald guy. Well, Billy, I can definitely say don't shave your head because if that's the shape of what we'd see, keep the hair as long as you can.
Better?
Uh-oh. That is better. Oh, great. I guess Art's getting his now because he turned his camera off. All right, well, we'll bring in another bald chap. Hello, Graham.
Hair is for homos.
That's right.
Oh, that's great.
That's right.
There, I've said it.
Yeah.
That's right. And this guy agrees.
That's a good thing I have no hair.
Hair is
look at that.
Hey, mine lasted till I was 40. So, you know.
You held out. Your hair held out.
What about this? Started. I was 21 years old.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was in my 50s when it started going.
You know, Billy looks like the Invisible Man for some reason. I don't know why.
There he is.
Remember that Graham when he's doing that?
That's right.
I'll show you. Oh, too much fun with the bros. Too much gosh darn fun.
I know.
Gosh darn fun. Hello.
It's all of the fun.
I'm getting gray. Look, where's my gray?
A little bit. Not that much. Not that
Agree?
much.
It's when those tuition bills come in, Billy. Then they'll really start.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it
right.
starts falling out, and it turns gray and falls out. That's exactly.
I don't know about it.
And falls out.
Oh shit.
Have you noticed the difference in the house? So was your boy happy when you guys left and you
No,
guys
very
were a wreck?
No, I was very, very sad. You guys know the one. Well,
Well, he wasn't sad. You and
no,
Debbie
he
were
was
sad.
sad.
That's
No,
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
crying. He was crying. He's nervous. So he's got, but he's got a great support group. All his buddies. Thing is, he's got in his weight class on his team. There's 6 kids in his weight class, 6 wrestlers.
6.
And they're all
Not a
fucking
lot.
good. They're all studs. So he's like, I'm like, you got your own family, and there's 4 freshmen. I think three of them are freshmen that are his, or maybe 3 are freshmen. One's a transfer, so he's technically a sophomore. And he transferred from Edinburgh, another good Division I school. And so he's like, I'm like, have fun, He's like,
And
I'm like,
his
we got your
roommate
buddies,
is a Bills
brother, huh?
His roommate is a Bills fan.
Yeah, his roommate's a 170 pounder. I could show he's a fucking monster. This kid, great kid.
You know what,
Oh,
Billy?
wow.
You posted those pictures of you saying, like dropping your kid off and saying goodbye.
Yeah,
And there's one picture of your wife, and she's kind of hugging him,
oh,
and not crying, but there's just such like happy sadness on her face.
yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, sometimes pictures just capture the moment, right? You just snap the picture. And I'll tell you, man, it ripped my heart out because I think we've all had to say goodbye to our children at some point. I think, except Dan still has younger children.
No, not yet. She's
Oh,
right
not
in the
yet.
house.
Yeah.
No,
it
is-
God, it rips your heart out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
When-
so
when
we
we-
did a,
when we
we did a
dropped there-
family. What?
I was just gonna say when we dropped Sarah off the first time at SCAD, we drove her down to Georgia, and she told us in no uncertain terms, "Whatever you guys do, do not cry when you say goodbye. Do not cry." We're like, okay. So we're saying goodbye, and we're like, okay, all right, we'll be seeing you in a couple months, Peanut, blah blah blah, And she starts crying. And I'm like, oh, it's all right, honey. It's, we'll see.
Yes.
We get back in the car. We drove 1 block up, pulled into a parking lot, and went,
Pulled over.
Yeah, I know.
and then we get a text that says, I can't believe you guys didn't cry.
Oh,
I said, "Oh,
Did you write back? You told us not to.
yeah. We were actually. It's so funny. So a lot of kids got dropped off this weekend. So we our friends' son, like one of our best friends, they dropped their son off at University of New Hampshire. And Debbie's talking to her. As soon as we drop off, it's funny how it was almost simultaneously that we dropped them both off at the same time, 2 different states. And we get 10 minutes, and all of a sudden Matthew sends us a text. I miss you guys. But as soon as Matthew sent the text, her son sent Matthew's friend sent his mom the text too, saying, I miss you guys, so. But I said, I'm like, listen, you already got a brotherhood, you got a family, you guys are all, because all the wrestlers in one dorm, they're all on the one floor, all together, and they have suites, so they're all together. I'm like, you got your brothers now, you got your buddies. Like, yeah, but some of them have to wrestle. I'm like, well, be friends with when you're on the mat. Do what you always do.
That's right.
They're going to do the same thing to you.
oh, yeah.
So that's your fucking mat, and you got to go up against an All-American. Well, fucking go for it. What do you got?
So when will you actually see him again?
Well, I got a whole schedule. Well, he's coming. Okay, so he's coming home the 27th. His homecoming is the 20th, but we'll be at Baltimore. And Debbie's like, and he's like, I don't really have to go to that. So he's coming home the 27th September. Then we go the 15th for Parents Weekend, and then his first tournament, I think, is November 5th. 4th, whatever that weekend. I think that's the weekend, and we're going to go up there. And it's funny because
2nd and 3rd, because November 5th is voting day.
That's right. So,
and it's your birthday.
Yeah,
You're going to vote early, so it won't matter.
I'd like
Guys,
to
this is what the main man thinks of my birthday.
November 5th. Remember, November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country. Thank you very much.
God, I love him for saying that for my birthday.
So Matthew wants to know, now that he's in Pennsylvania, he wants a vote. So how do I get him to do an absentee ballot? Do I go to the post office and get it? Like, where does one get that? Did you guys ever do that?
think you
Well,
have to request it.
I would. He'd have to get it.
Yeah, he has to
wouldn't he?
request it.
Yeah, he's the adult now.
So he's got to go and all right, I'll tell him to do that. Maybe when he comes home, if he gets home on a Friday or something. But do you know where you do it?
Well, there's this thing.
Well,
called
just tell him to look
internet, and
online.
you
Just
can look
Google
I
it.
know I'm being lazy. I'm asking you guys because we keep
Yeah,
talking.
the
I have no
internet. You can
idea.
do it on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
You got
he
it.
wants to go
You
for
just
Trump.
got. Give me a week because I'm going to fill out probably 100 or 200 of those things and send them in.
Yes,
I hear that's what you can do now.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
all
speaking
my
of
I have all my
Speaking-
Mexican aliases, so
That's right.
I'm ready to vote multiple times.
Well, don't use Jimmy Reyes because I'm using that one.
Damn it!
So, I
That's
know.
not
Is
legal.
Lopez taken already? Oh, Lopez is taken already. I was going to use Lopez.
Damn it.
Completely legal these days.
Hey, real quick, what talking about crying in college and stuff? Aaron, I see you're wearing your football team's shirt there. You going to be crying this season or what?
I am very optimistic this year that this is the year that the Huskers come back strong. We shall
Oh, you
see.
sound like a Bills fan.
Yeah.
Do you have a new head coach or something? What's going on?
second year head coach, 5-star quarterback? Feel pretty good.
There you go.
I wonder if you guys play
Everybody
Penn
was turning on
State. Let me
defense.
see. Let me see if you guys play them.
Who? Not this year. Nebraska doesn't play Penn State this year.
No? Oh, okay. All right. Our first
Next
game
year.
is, our first game is 29th, or whatever that weekend is, something like that. There we go. So I'm sorry.
Saturday.
Nice.
Week
September
1.
7th. September 7th. Bowling Green. Oh, Penn State's ranked 8th in the Big Ten. Is it the Big Ten?
No,
Ooh.
nationally, they're 8.
Nationally.
Green.
Nationally. What do you think of that, fucking Aaron Lepresti?
Hey,
Wow.
is it Bowling Green
That
where
was
they make
hard.
Corvettes?
Wow.
No,
I
man.
went to
He got
a fabric school, so I have a real college now, you know? Like,
he got all jacked up.
I think Bowling Green.
All right. Well, let's get on with the show. We
it's the show.
little chatting is always good in the beginning. Get people in the room. We've got a good amount of people. So the topic for tonight, for everybody watching, is we've all been in the business a long time. We have friends, maybe mentors, whatever. So I thought it would be nice, kind of a tribute thing. We pick 2 to 3 of our artist friends, nobody here included, and just kind of show what you consider is one of your favorite jobs that they did. So that's what we're going to be doing,
man.
going around the horn, hopefully 2 times for sure, and maybe even 3. So we'll see. But the boom is up first. Oh, he's looking educated with glasses. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm not.
I don't think they're used for seeing. I don't see
my-
any glare in those. Is there
my
even
parents-
glass in those things?
No glass in them.
There's no glass. Look at Art's glasses. And Aaron's and Billy's. Oh, yep, there is. Never mind.
it's just
They're
a
just
game.
clean.
guys.
It's just
Uh,
a game.
Yeah, I
It's a
didn't go to
disguise.
college.
Wait, where'd Dan go?
I didn't go. Yeah, exactly. I'm Super Dan. How you doing?
How
Well,
you doing?
the first person I want to talk about is, I think, one of the very well, if not, I think he is the very first comic book artist that I ever interviewed, and he was part of this big thing back in 1989. They were launching the Batman movie, and they got the writer of the movie, Sam Hamm, to write
Mhm.
Detective
I just want to
Comics
interject
600.
for a minute. If you don't pick Rob Liefeld, I'm going to pick him.
I'm going to be really shocked if you don't pick Liefeld, Dan,
I know.
for a round. I know who you're going with this
Yeah, I
round.
know
I
who
think
he's
all
going
of
with
us
now.
guessed who you're going with this round.
Yeah, and he was part of a really cool movement called Milestone.
Yeah.
It's my friend Dennis Cowan.
Dennis,
and I want to show you guys just a little bit of that interview, just so you can see that
The
this
young
was,
Dan.
well, no, it's
I know.
35 years ago. It was let me see, Flyco Joe. I always have to search for it because it's not my video. It belongs to none other than my friend Joe Fields. Here, let's I'll share my screen.
Yes.
And,
make sure you share audio.
I know. That's it's one of them things. Like when you share audio tab. Here we are.
All right.
You see it?
I do.
Okay.
Oh. What's
So
below? What's the bottom thing? I don't really care about.
I don't
the
know.
top.
Dating in Canada. You know why? I have a VPN running, and my computer thinks it's in Canada. That's probably why. But yeah, this is me interviewing Joe Field. But this right here, if we can fast forward up to it.
Right. He said no.
No, that's
on the cover. It's a beautiful drawing.
Hold on, let me get to the
Vogel,
interview
and it has
part.
a lot of foreshortening.
There we go.
And
Wow. I don't know what's going on there. There we go.
What's your name? Sam Ham. So you're the writer and scripter for the Batman movie, correct? That's a fact. Jack. So
That's a fact.
just came out.
And you can tell the time they have their shirts tucked in and they have belts and everything.
Yeah.
What's great is this is like
Is Dennis smoking?
Yeah.
out just both of them smoking cigarettes.
Stuck me with some of the people that I think are the best artists working in comics. Dick Giordano inked it, and the penciler in question was my pal and sidekick, Mr. Dennis Cowan.
Here's Mr. Cowan right here, who also pencils the question. By the question.
I didn't realize Sam Ham was
Good
that young.
Okay, here's another question for
Say
you.
what?
Are you?
Oh, he
when is
was,
the next
yeah,
time you'll
super
do
young.
autographs in this area? You're going to be at the convention next year?
Well, I'm not sure at this point. I hope so. I really like the area. I like Oakland. Nice.
What other titles did you do before you did Detective Comics, The Blind Justice?
Well, I mentioned the question. I do the question every month. And that's for DC Comics. Also,
And that book was awesome. It was deluxe format. It was
all
bad.
kinds of different comics, Superman story, Dr. Zero.
So, how does Dick Giordano's inking reflect your pencil?
I think Dick is a master inker, and he captured the mood of the pencils.
This was really cool of them to do this for a kid. You know what I mean?
Mr. Ham, how do you feel how he illustrated?
How old are you here, Dan?
I was
15.
I was kind of knocked out, to tell you the
15?
truth. I had written the script, and I'd sort of done little thumbnail
This
sketches
was
for myself,
35
so I
years
figured
ago.
how it would break down on the page.
Have you showed this to Harrison so he knows what he can look forward to looking like when he's 15?
Dude, his hair is going to be down to his back by that
pure
time.
delight seeing Dennis's pages for the first time. And that was
Anyway, so I'm cutting that interview off to show you some of his work. I actually reached out to him. I did not tell him why. I just gave him a call because I have love for a lot of his work. The first time I saw his work, of course, was on That Detective. That was the first time I had met him.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because I was a
man.
new, I was really, I was 15, man. I've been collecting comics for like 5 years. So
Power Man and Iron Fist was in that window, wasn't it? No.
No. I bought 84, starting in 84.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyhow, of course I enjoyed his work, and got to see his work on The Question, the book he was talking about, and he also did a book about Prince. He did a Prince comic book, which was really good. But I sent him a text and said, "Hey man, what's your favorite work?" And he was real quick with the answer. He said 2 books. So I'm just gonna share one since we Dennis's work is super duper strong on its own, and I had a chance to interview him back in 2018. I haven't put it up yet, but in it he discussed some of his philosophies behind his work. Do you want to share my screen?
Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry about that. Yep.
No problem. So the first book that he had mentioned, and we'll take a look at it now, is this book here called Hardware, which was also done with Dwayne McDuffie. But this is Jimmy Palmiotti inking him. This is his stuff. And the thing I've always liked about Dennis's work is it's very graphic, but also plays with textures. And it wasn't until I interviewed him about his influences that I really could understand where he was coming from, because first off, he's a master storyteller. He comes from strong heritage. He was over at Continuity when he was a teenager. You know, he came up through Neil and went to was in Continuity at the same time as guys like Chaikin and Joe Rubenstein. So you know, he had a really strong base to work from, and I mean, this is powerful stuff. And you got to remember, this is right around when Image was hitting hard. This is early '93. So this is nice and loud and clear. It just, oh man, every time I look at his stuff, it just gets me really.
You've seen his
stoked.
Deathlock stuff, right?
I do. I was going to bring that up. That was his second favorite. His first was Hardware, and his second. Brohawk is saying yuck. What's he saying yuck for?
I don't know. I think his stuff has just great kinetic energy to it.
Yeah.
Goes in with the way he does his line work and stuff, gives it that feel. But I love that panel. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what else is really interesting about his work is it seems like it's all in the ink work, like all that kinetic energy and stuff. But when you see his pencils, it's all there as well. Like he pencils like the inks look.
Yeah.
Like you would think like it was all done in inks because it's so spontaneous looking, you know, organic. But it really is in the pencils as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is just such good. It's loud in its competitiveness with Image Comics, you know, the loudness of it, but it's also got such great graphic design, which I think, you know, a lot of the stuff of that era, you know, coming from that era, like some of you guys did, Andy and I came in roughly around the same. There was a lot of flash. You know, when we were doing Image Comics, we were doing those big shots, but sometimes the story moment didn't call for the thing that was biggest on the page. You know, we were just kind of showing off on a page. Whereas I've always felt that Dennis's stuff had such a good balance of being bold and big and graphic, but also so clear and intentional with a storytelling. So anyway, this is my friend. Look at that. Look at him doing the Iron Man thing. This is way before. Look at how the positioning on that. So good, just so incredible. This work, and he's an incredible man. The other thing is he's he does some. He says I see. Mythophotographica Comic Art said I see some Simonson going on. Yes, absolutely. But Dennis is a very spiritual man. He loves Bruce Lee. He loves Prince. He's a big Prince fan. Very zen. Likes his sports car. Just a good solid individual. He
what would have been cool, and I don't know if somebody like Art, you've never inked Dennis, have you?
No.
I think his stuff, having like Art or Scott Williams, somebody along that lines, ink him would have been cool. But I've never seen somebody like that ink him.
You know, that would be quite interesting. In fact, I think today he posted something that he that's like on his desk. Let me take a look. Let me see if it was under Dennis Cowan Art or if it was under was it from yesterday? Yeah, here it is. So I'm gonna share my.
Didn't you say Dwayne McDuffie was writing Hardware?
Dwayne McDuffie wrote Hardware and also the Deathlock. Rest in peace. So this was fresh on his table yesterday, which
cool.
Fantastic. And like you said, that crazy sketchiness, that sort of taupey vibe that happens in his work, it's all in the pencil.
That's
really
great.
good stuff.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
Yep. So that's my first pick is my man Dennis Cowan.
Nice.
Good choice.
Excellent. Good choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Art to Bear.
I have
I
no friends in this
I see
industry.
the comment, Graham.
I have a lot of,
do.
I have a lot of acquaintances. You guys are like my friends. Like this is pretty much it.
And you can't use us.
I know. So I'm not.
I think it's okay if you want to show. You know,
But you know what? If I had
nice
to pick
stuff.
one of you, I would pick Aaron
Don't
LeBron.
do it.
Aaron
Oh.
Aaron
You know
Yeah,
why I picked
checks in
Aaron?
the mail, Art.
Yeah, you know why I picked Aaron? Because he did this. See? He pointed at himself.
Pick
but-
me.
But realistically, I mean, CG pretty much put a nail in the coffin. But you know what? All those people that I thought were friends anyway, they went bye-bye. So it was probably good. You know, they weren't really my friends anyway. But until that happened, I had no idea. So I started thinking about what you said, Andy, and man, I had to dig deep because I was thinking, like, who would I actually call friends? Like, not acquaintances, not people I've worked with, not people, because a lot of times, like in this industry, you have like moments, right? You work with somebody and maybe you're tight for a series or a couple years or whatever. And so then you're pretty tight. Like Greg Capullo and I were like thick as thieves for about 2 years. But, you know, I mean, we kind of cross paths every once in a while, but I wouldn't, you know, I don't call him an enemy or anything like that.
Happens.
But, right.
That happens on productions too. They call them location ships, you know, because it's like everybody's family when you're on the crew and all that, and then everybody disperses into the wind. And maybe there was one or two people you connect with, but generally speaking, and it happens that way in music too. I know the Madonna's dancers from the Truth or Dare tour had such a difficult time with her parting with them because she made it feel like family, and then they're like, "But you were my best friend."
Yeah. So it was really tough because I was thinking also like Jim Lee, and I didn't pick Rob Liefeld because you know I was like Dan's gonna pick Rob Liefeld. So.
You know what? He's in there. He's in the 3, but I have another.
But I started no, I'm not gonna pick him. But I started thinking like, who am I still like in contact with? Like, who do I still hang out with? You know, every once in a while, who would I think is still like my friend? And so if you share the screen, Andy. So John Peterson. So John Peterson, what's that?
He was a good dude.
I say
What did you
anything?
say, Andy?
I said I did. When you said share the
okay.
screen, I said I did.
Oh, thank you. So this is a weird side, like the creator, comic creator, and it's actually pretty cool. But I think some of these books, you know, these guys didn't work on, like obviously, you know, Action Comics.
He might have been the editor
on Action Comics, the one with number 1 or whatever. I don't think.
Well, no,
so,
they're just showing that, saying that that's the run. So, you know, take Action Comics all the way up to when they canceled that run. That's why they're showing that cover, so you know what the run it is.
Okay, so when I first met John, he was an assistant editor to Mike Carlin, and he did have his own books. So he had I saw it in here. He's worked on so many books, but it was Checkmate. Remember that? Was that John Byrne? Did John Byrne create Checkmate?
Sounds right.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Wasn't
I
that
don't-
Ross Andrew? I think.
Did
Ross
Checkmate go back that far?
It's from the 80s.
So Checkmate, right? But even Rob Liefeld did some Checkmate covers. Yeah. So this says 1990. Yeah. So let me see. Where do I enter into it? Okay. So I know Rob did a cover where he's swinging from a building, he's shooting a machine gun, but this issue, what is it? Issue 14. This one here, I did the cover for. So it says creators Paul Kuppelberg and Todd Smith. So John Peterson was the editor. So yeah, he gave me a lot of cool cover work. I wish it went back to where it started. If you all, let me find it again. So yeah, so checkmate. Come on, boot up, boot up. This is not good. It's not good. All right. And so then I think I did just a whole slew of covers in a row. So I did 14, 13. I don't know why they're out of order. Oh, I guess they're going back. And then 12, I did 11. I did 9. I did 6, the cover for. And where's that? Oh, here's the Rob Liefeld, number 3, Checkmate 3. Rob did the cover for. So John was really good. So this was his book early on. And so this is how he started. And I remember meeting John when, you know, at the DC offices, and he pretty much just had he had like a little closet. It was really weird. So he had a closet that he was working out of. You could barely open the door. You know, he had a big old desk in there. And so he also assisted Mike Carlin. So on the Superman books, like all the 4 Superman titles, he was there. He was good friends with Jerry Ordway. So John and Jerry put the official movie adaptation for the first Batman together and set all kinds of sales records on that. And so let me go back. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate this site. So, and I'm trying to give you some kind of like chronological order because I could just click on these things randomly and talk about them. But you can see the line of books that he's either written, edited, or just oversaw the books. So his big claim to fame was probably when he started working on the Superman titles, and there was the 4 titles. There was Action, Adventure, Man of Steel, and I forget the other, or just Superman. And so there was a lot of work to be done. He and Mike, you know, nailed it. And so I've always liked John. And you know, when you hit us up with this idea, Andy, I was just like, who do I still talk to? You know, who do I talk to that it seems like no time has gone on? You know, like we've you know never parted. You know, like he's in the desert somewhere. You know, I'm in Texas now. We were both. Well, he was in New York City. Then he moved out to California. He tried to do the Hollywood Shuffle thing. And so let me move things faster. Okay, so then I was working on Black and White for Image Comics. And so he was always a good sounding board. So he came in as an editor. So he helped us out with Black and White. He stayed with Pamela and I for a couple weeks. And also I was still tight with Jim Lee. So Jim had Wildstorm going on at the time. And so Jim needed an editor-in-chief. So we packed up the car. I drove John over to Wildstorm. And so he interviewed with Jim, and he got the job. So he became editor-in-chief at Wildstorm. And I don't know if it was Homage at the time, but Wildstorm. And so when he was there, also just to back up a little bit, he's the guy that did all the New Titan stuff. So he was pretty much the brainchild. So he worked with Marv Wolfman, Lynn Wein on trying to create like a Titans book that would compete with the X-Men. And so he pretty much did. These books were selling quite well, not as good as X-Men. And so he was recruiting people. So he asked if I could come over from the X-Men and work on a Titans thing. So we came up with a mini-series with Nightwing. So I was going to basically do the proposal for Nightwing and oh my gosh, what was her name? Starfire. And so, I got the sign off from DC Comics. I got the sign off from Marv Wolfman. I remember Marv was working over at Disney at the time. And so I went over to Disney. He was working on the lot in Burbank. And so I went in there and I talked to him, and he's like, sure, I think it's a great idea, do it. So we had the whole proposal in the miniseries and everything. And then for some reason, I don't know the details, but John was let go of DC Comics. And so that's when he went over to Wildstorm with a little help from me. And then the rest was kind of, editor-in-chief. But I like the one story where they were doing, Jim was doing the Heroes Reborn, whatever it was called, the Fantastic Four. And so John was looking over all that stuff. And so I think it was it Brandon Choi? I can't remember who Jim worked with as a writer.
Yeah, that was his writer. Yep, Brandon. Yep, Brandon.
Yeah, a good guy, but he really didn't know comics too well. And so I remember John telling me, is like, Art, what should I do? Like, he doesn't use terms like flame on or it's clobbering time or any of that stuff. He said, can it be a Fantastic Four, story without those elements? And I said, I don't think so, man. I think everybody's going to want Johnny Storm to say flame on, and I think they're going to want, Ben Grimm to say it's clobbering time. So he brought it up to Brandon, and Brandon agreed. So if you guys read, these and like them, just know that the reason those are in the book is because of John. So he was a good guy, really loved comic books. I think he loved comic books too much. So I think the industry kind of beat him up, as it kind of beats all of us up. So, but then he started doing creator-owned stuff. So he did this Guardian Angel book, which was freaking amazing. And he had Aaron Weisenfeld doing the artwork. And I think Scott Williams was doing some of the inks early on. And it was really a good book. I mean, just beautiful art, great story. John is a great storyteller. And sadly, they didn't finish the run. They didn't get to finish the run. But he did another book. Let's see if it's in his grouping here. Come on.
What website is that you're using?
It's called Comic Creator. It seems like it's fairly new. You guys are all in it, so there's
hey, I'll go visit it.
Comic Creator. What?
Yeah, there used to be something called the Comic Book Database, and that was around for a while. And then and I would access it sometimes because I forget shit I've worked on. And then it's gone. It's gone now. Maybe the Wayback Machine has.
Really?
But oh yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh, it's
comicbookdb.com.
It's not in here. At least I can't see. I can't find it.
Can I tell you my Jonathan Peterson story?
Of course. Yeah.
So when I was trying to break into comics, the over at Marvel, we don't have to cringe on names or anything like that, but over at Marvel, the guy that was championing me the most was Fabian Nicieza. And Rob Liefeld, of course, was, stoking the fires, but Image hadn't started yet. There were whispers of Image, but Jonathan Peterson and Neil Posner over at DC were like championing me. They gave me like tons of inventory stories, one of which was a Deathlock story. And Jonathan was one of the guys that gave the two people that gave the best comic book art critiques I ever had were Rob Liefeld and Jonathan Peterson. They could, and cool. Neil Adams too, but they could get right to a point and give you actionable advice, not just, you know, oh, composition, da da da. It was like really, really precise. So I will just concur with your saying about him being a good guy, because he sure was.
Yeah, John, like comic books are in his blood. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like doing professionals and hanging out with you guys. Like it's in your blood, it's in your DNA. And it is with Jonathan as well. So the last thing I think he did was this, it was with Bravura, and he did it with Kevin McGuire, this Strike Back. And it was a really cool looking book. It had you know, that kind of that humor, like the Justice League stuff that McGuire did in the past. And then he struck a deal with Jim to finish the run over at Wildstorm. So they brought it over Wildstorm. I do think they finished the whole run on it over at Wildstorm, but John's a great guy. He mostly moved to California for Hollywood. So he started, you know, he would write pitches, you know, go on meetings, things like that. Got his heart broken, you know, in Hollywood, like most of us. And so then, and comics, he felt like he felt like there was no future in comics. But that the funny thing about it is, like he said that 20 years ago, and I've still been working in comics 20 years later. So obviously, John, I'm sorry, I love you to death, but you were wrong. And I think you should have stayed with it. I think it would have been tough, but I think it's a tough way to make a living, period. And now I think he bought like some kind of trailer, and he's driving around, you know, the United States, and he's just kind of camping out in places and doing his own thing. So
Doing the Albert Brooks thing.
Yeah.
Do you even know how? Do you even know how to get a hold of him?
I have his email. I have his phone number. So I just talked to him a couple months ago when he decided he was going to leave California. He couldn't afford to live there anymore anyway.
Who can? That place is.
Yeah.
We left just in time, yo.
Yeah, he lived right in Burbank too. So he within walking distance of the Cartoon Network building. And it was cool to go visit him because we just go hang out at all those places and stuff. But just a good guy. He was pretty ambitious, but I just think he was a little too heart and soul, you know, so the industry kind of beat him up. So he's
I worked with him at Wildstorm. I don't remember on what, but I remember having many conversations with the guy. He was always very cool. We had like lengthy conversations, you know, that just about whatever. So I always thought he was a good guy.
Yeah, he always has time. Yeah, he always has time.
I think I met him once, and that was it at DC.
Yeah,
just in passing.
So that's my friend. Like I said, it was a deep dive, man. It was a challenge because you know, when you just start taking inventory, you realize how many acquaintances you have in the business, but how many really good friends do you have? And I have maybe two.
That's a bummer.
Shit, that's depressing.
Wow, there's 5 of us here,
right?
And he says he has 2.
No. You said we can't choose, you know, our bros. So.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yeah.
I did. All right, Tucci.
And then John betrayed you all, though. That was the saddest part of it.
That was the saddest day ever.
Saddest day ever. Okay. Oh, okay. Bye, Dan. All right.
I'm smoking, man. Come on.
Woo! I was gonna, I figured I don't know. I think I have a lot of friends. I was thinking about picking a Rob Liefeld thing, but I assumed Dan would have done it. I want to.
You guys are funny, man.
But I'm gonna hit with a little something here. Great run on the books. Ran over 70 issues. DC comic, written by a pair of chaps of mine. Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray, of which one I had the honor of actually doing a cover for. But let's, how about we share a little Jonah Hex? Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray's run. He used a bunch of artists. I mean, that's my cover.
Yeah. I can see your name right there. It says Tucci. That was the dead one.
But we're talking about writers right now, or we're talking about artists?
I have no friends that are artists. I only have friends that are writers. No, that's
that is sad. That is so sad.
sad, so sad. Anyway, but it's just a great run because he used so many different arts. Yeah, Jordy Burnett.
Wait a minute. You just said Palmiotti's not an artist. Oh shit.
Oh, he is. Yeah, Jimmy is an artist. That's right.
That was cold-blooded, man.
Anyway,
I saw he even inked that Dennis Cowan piece, man.
That's right.
Wow,
He's been
Billy.
around.
Wow,
Billy, he's been
Billy.
around
Wow.
longer than you.
Yes, he has. So let's
Wow.
look
Longer
at
than you.
some cool things with Jimmy.
We're all turning on each other now.
If you want to share my screen.
Yeah.
I mean, a great Frank Quitely cover. Darwin Cook.
Oh, I love that cover.
Oh,
Lots
yeah.
of cool stuff. Phil Noto did that issue right there.
So good.
Lots of great books. 70 issues. It still hasn't been collected in a big giant collection.
Damn, I didn't realize that book ran for that long. Holy
70
shit.
issues, and then the movie killed it. The movie sucked.
You know
bad.
who else did a bunch of covers for
Yeah.
Jonah Hex? Well, not a bunch, but a couple. This guy right here.
This guy right there.
Oh,
The guy who has no friends, Art to Bear.
The guy with
Yeah.
no friends. Your
Well, I
friends-
have one. It's Aaron Lepresti, hopefully.
Oh,
But they did
damn.
a great. Again, they won it all one and done stories. Fantastic series. I don't think they were nominated for any awards for it, which is bullshit. And just great. I mean, look at this. Just great stuff.
You know what? They made a great team, those two as writers.
Sure did.
Didn't they do like a Hawkman run or something else?
Yes.
He did a bunch of stuff, a bunch.
Yeah.
And then Justin ended up going his way, doing what he does, and Jimmy and Amanda pretty much teamed up. But just good stuff, man. Just really, Paul Galassi. Just great stuff. Great stories.
There's my cover right there. There's my cover. It's
Which
in
one?
that
That's you,
I wrote
T-Man?
down. It's the one where he's being hanged or hung.
Click it.
Oh, I thought it was the
Up,
face
up,
one.
up. Up, right there.
Oh yeah, okay. It's that small SM all. Let's see if I can make it
Son
bigger.
Bitch.
Such disrespect.
While
Son
you're
of
doing
Liberty
that, Son of
Radio.
Liberty Radio for $5. Thank you. I have a print of that Jonah Hex cover hanging in my office,
Ah.
Billy. Signed. One of my favorite
like to see it,
material
Jonah.
possessions.
God
Yeah.
bless. God bless. So if you want to share my screen, there's RT Bear's
Oh
cover.
yeah.
The
Look at you,
hanging
On the
Who
hanging
drew that?
tree.
Ooh, El Diablo is a guest star.
Yeah, who drew that? Who drew
I
that
did.
issue?
I drew it and inked it.
Oh, nice. You drew the whole issue too?
No, just the cover.
Oh, okay. Great job, buddy. Great job. Capital job. You know what, Art? Good for you. And 3 cheers for you.
Our good friend Art to Bear.
Hurrah!
A good friend.
Oh, see
For
that?
drinking, guys. That's
Yeah.
cause for drinking.
But
Oh,
again, but
yeah.
a terrific run. I encourage anyone to find those issues. I found a cool thing with Frank Quitely's the evolution of his cover that he did.
Is he
I
one
don't
of
know if
your
you guys know Frank or like his stuff. I dig him. He's
I
a
like
great
Frank stuff.
Scotsman.
I don't.
Look at this. Nice his little ruffs.
Oh my
And,
god,
good-
I could finish that. That stuff's tight. I could ink that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really tight.
dude.
But look at this. What a great job. Very Moebius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Jeff Darrow and Moebius.
Good old
Is that
Moebius.
how you say it?
What's his
Is that how you
name?
say it?
Moebius.
Moebius?
That's his name. Is
Oh, it's
isn't
a
it-
Moebius.
Isn't it Mobius?
No, it's Moebius.
It's Moebius.
I met the
Moebius.
guy. I met him. His last name is
Goodness
pronounced
priest, Billy, who haven't you met?
His name is Jean Girard.
Yeah, that's not his last
His
name.
pen name is Moebius. It's French.
Are you sure? Are you
But
sure
his
you're
hobby-
not talking
Moebius.
about
I said, "Oh my God, Moebius." He goes, "It's Moebius." He told me in my face, "It's Moebius."
But his hobby is Moeda.
But he might have said, "I want a cup of coffee too," because he's French.
That's right. Well, nobody can ask him now.
All right, then you guys, when you guys,
Oh, that was
died,
sad.
so you guys can't ask him, but he told me his name was Moebius in like 1998 when I met him at Angoulême, the Angoulême Comic Con.
Yeah, but
That
Billy,
is-
you were drunk out of your mind,
I
remember?
was so drunk. I
Oh,
was
that's
hanging out-
true.
I was hanging out with
Hey,
Dave
you know what I
Stevens.
tell people? I always tell people that you always correct me and say your last name is Tucky.
Tucky.
Yeah, you put a T on the end of it, it's Tuck It.
Tuck it. Billy Tuck it. Ooh.
Billy, check it.
Hang
Oh,
on.
yeah. Silence of the Lambs, Billy Tuckett.
I'd F me. Put the lotion in the basket and does whatever it's told. Great
Little
stuff.
Moebius.
Great, you know. But I digress. A great series. And look it up.
Okay, so why is Jimmy
Moebius?
Moebius. Why is Jimmy your good friend?
He's always been a good friend of mine. One of the first people I met in comics. He introduced me to all the mainstream guys. I became friends with John Romita Jr. because of him. You know, our first San Diego Comic-Con, well, it was really cool because we were pretty popular. She was pretty popular, but I had met Jimmy a few weeks before. That's a funny story. I'll tell you that one after. We got to have a crazy show that we just tell the truth. Or just tell people about.
I'm always telling
burn every
truth,
bridge
man.
we can think of.
Burn every
you mean
not
break
burned
down
as it
the
is, right?
stories.
But it's a great story. But anyway, so Jimmy, I almost killed one of Jimmy's friends. Let's leave it at that. And then Jimmy and I became friends.
On purpose?
No, yeah, I wanted to kill one of Jimmy's friends. If it wasn't
Joe Quesada, you told us the story.
You talking about the bar
you
thing
know
with
the
Joe
story.
Q?
You got a similar story too. Fraga Boom. Same dude,
Hey,
all right?
Mine. It's a win for me.
Yours is
I
a
mean,
win.
It did not
That's
help
right.
my career at all, but it was a win for me.
Yeah, well, mine didn't help my career after later on anyway.
Yeah.
But anywho, so but Jimmy's just been always a great friend. We're working on a new book right now. I'm almost finished. I'm finishing up the cover. Me, Jimmy, and Brian Pleater doing the Deadly Trio. This is my cover. I'm inking it. Right now. It launches on Kickstarter in November. So it's me, Polito, and Jimmy Palmiotti. Just great friends. Kind of guys you hang out with. You don't talk about comics, sort of like me and Graham do. And it's just good people, good family friend for the longest time, and a great creator, and just a good all around guy. So, and Jonah Hex, though, I'm not picking it because he's my friend. I pick it because I just love those one and done comics. I love westerns. I love any kind of comics with guns, I think. So,
Who's the editor of that book? Do you remember?
Martz, I think. Mike Martz, I believe.
Mike
Martz?
Martz?
Good old Mike.
Yeah, Mike's going to be my editor on everything I did. It might have been, I think it was Martz. I think. I don't know.
Contacted me about doing a cover for that.
Hell yeah.
I'm all about
Art Thibert apparently did a whole bunch of covers. Thanks a lot, Art. That's why you got no fucking friends. Because you didn't say
Thanks, Art.
You never share. You never share.
No.
Damn it.
I could draw a really great Jonah Hex. I've only drawn him once, but I drew him great. So,
Same here. I
thanks,
drew him
Art.
once for
There's
at a
another
con.
one. There's another
I drew
one.
one for convention. Yeah.
Well, here's the truth. Art actually got me the job. So Art called me and asked me if I wanted it, and if I want to draw it. And I'm like, yeah. But he didn't call you guys. So
Art's a good man.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
But they were fun, very fun, one and done story. He asked me what I wanted to do. My son William was little, and he loved trains. My son William loved trains. I said, I don't know, someone a train and a hot chick. So that's what my story was about. So
Pulling a train on a hot chick?
Robbery and a betrayal.
Oh, come on. See, Aaron, that wasn't even me. That was Art that said that.
That's what I thought. Well, I'm on Art's side because I thought that's what Billy said. And I was going, what?
What? What I said? What
You got Moebius to draw. Sorry, Mubius to draw.
Moebius.
Moebius threw a train on a hot chick.
Mubis
to
draw him a train.
Oh, it's like you're in New Jersey, right? You New Yorker kind of New Jersey thing. It's like Moebius.
He corrected me in 1998 when I called him Moebius.
He was pulling the wool.
Well, there were no witnesses, so what are we going to do?
Yeah, well, 5 years ago, I went up to him and said, "Hey, Moebius," and he goes, "What are you talking about? It's Mobius." And so the whole
Did
thing.
you get that from that drunk guy?
Yeah,
he told Aaron, he goes, "It's Mobius, you dick, you American prick."
I took the name from Forbidden Planet.
And then Kevin Wolf is saying it's Moebius.
It's
Kevin Wolf said it's according to Harlan Ellison.
Wait, look, Kevin Wolf, the great Kevin Wolf, the Wolfman.
You know why?
Harlan, who I seem as Harlan Ellison, and Harlan Ellison's never wrong.
And Harlan Ellison was the host of Comic Book Greats, not Comic Book Great, Comic Book Masters.
It's Harlan
starring Dan Fraga.
No, it had
full circle, baby. Full circle.
No, it had Moebius in it.
Oh, and what did Moebius say?
Merci beaucoup.
Oh.
Would you like these snails?
We don't even have it in language. We just have this silly accent. We also
Madame, s'il vous plaît.
Maurice Chevalier.
I tell you,
Wait. Where's
if
my
there's somebody,
mustache?
speaking of westerns, if there's somebody that hasn't seen Lieutenant Blueberry yet or hasn't picked those up, go get those.
No wonder we have no friends.
Yeah,
I
those are
know.
great.
All right, Graham. You're
All
up.
right. My choice, and I'll share it in a sec. Is a fellow I went to school with at the Hubert School. Heck of a nice guy. In my opinion, one of the best comic artists and storytellers working in the business today. Mr. Lee Weeks.
Oh, heck
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, Lee is so great.
Lee is so good.
This series, Tarzan versus Predator, at the core,
Graham,
really-
hold on. When you said in our private chat, Lee Weeks, I literally thought to myself, I hope he picks Tarzan Predator. I've got that trade next to my desk. I love that job.
Yeah.
That is hysterical.
Oh, good.
Also, another friend wrote it. Walt Simonson.
Walter Simonson, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
love Walt.
those guys really hit it out of the park on this. Not only did they get Tarzan right with the real Burroughs feel, but because they also set this in the other Burroughs world of At the Earth's Core, and then you throw the Predator in there, and this shit is just killer. Let me show you this. Look at this. This is from the second issue. The first one's a lot of exposition and stuff. This one's got more action in it. But I just love that the Predator comes to Earth, and all of a sudden he meets Tarzan, and he's shit out of luck here. Look at Tarzan jumping on this guy. He's got all his.
He doesn't
tech.
even care.
Yeah, Tarzan. He sets his trap up. With his knife, this hunting knife, and it goes right into his thigh. Then Tarzan gets on his ass, and then. He reaches around, gives him a reach around, and sticks his dagger right up to his belly and tears him open.
That's fucking great. Look at that.
Dude, look at that. Look at the vignette panel. That is so Frazetta. I just love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is great. Lee doesn't do a lot of crazy panels. He tells the story straight up, much like Hubert. He doesn't have diagonal panels and weird things askew. Everything is pretty much, follows a vertical and horizontal line. So you never get lost, but you also are never bored because look at this. This is a talking head page. There's no action on it. He moves the camera in and out. He casts shadows for drama. This is storytelling 101.
Yeah.
This is just beautiful work.
I like the coloring in this job as well.
Well, I don't know if this is a little saturated. I don't know if it's just because it's digital here, but I don't remember it looking quite like this in the comic.
Man,
that's great stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's a fun story too.
Oh, it's a great story.
Yeah.
It is a really good. If you like Tarzan, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
How many hoops they have to jump through to get this done? You got to get your art approved by the Burroughs people and 20th Century. Is it 20th Century Fox owns Predator?
Oh, what's that?
I would think the Predator people would be harder approval wise than the Burroughs people.
I agree.
There's been so many people that
I've
worked with
dealt with
Tarzan.
the Predator people, and it was a pain in my balls.
Graham, is that a giant stone landing on that dude's head right there on the right hand side?
Yeah. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Tarzan Bundolo. The Last Hunters. He threw the stone on his head. It's so
Last
great.
Hunter is dead. That is great
and
stuff.
This is really cool too. Tarzan jumps on the guy.
Look at that.
He just is bashing his head in here.
Don't mess with Tarzan.
And the coolest thing is that
What's
Lee
that?
actually posed as Tarzan and all this.
Yeah.
Rocks up and smashing him.
Isn't he also an incredible magician?
He is. He is.
That's
He
what I
loves
heard, man.
crazy card tricks,
I wanna see this. I need to see it.
See what?
Him do his tricks.
Oh yeah. You got to catch him at a show.
Look at that. What's on that last panel? That last page? Is it a wedding or something? Or he's just.
I think he saved Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he saved Jane there.
I love his Daredevil. I love his Hulk.
Yeah.
I love everything he
dude.
does.
Yeah, his Hulk is so
Batman
good.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Who's that ape guy? If you go down, if you go down,
Tarzan the ape.
no,
man.
no, not the ape man, the ape guy.
Well, there's
right there.
probably one of the guys from Opar, like this guy. Yeah,
yeah. Look how great that is.
Oh wait, no, this is. Well, they're in the Earth's core, so that would be one of those dudes. You know, those like cavemen type dudes from that.
It's Mr. Moebius. Don't you guys know anything?
Oh yeah, his name's Moebius.
You know, you're gonna find out. You guys are gonna do your research and find out that that's what he called himself.
He may have, but nobody else called him that.
You need to find a recording of it.
Mobius.
Yeah. No, you know what though? I'm gonna see if I have that comic book Masters and hear Harlan Ellison introduce him. Okay.
Please do. Please do.
I'm gonna find it. Give me a moment.
Yeah, but Harlan Ellison,
audio proof.
Harlan Ellison's so pretentious. He might have just said that just to be pretentious. So that doesn't mean anything.
He's pedantic.
And now, everyone, please welcome my guest, Moebius.
But I mean, back to Lee. He does. I mean, you're right. Everything he draws is just great. His Superman is fantastic. His Batman, just.
And he's been
so
an incredible draftsman. When he first came to the school, when he was working on student assignments, I remember looking at his stuff, and he was really influenced by John Buscema at that point. And it's like, holy shit, this guy can draw like crazy, even way back then. And he's just, just an amazing talent. Heck of a nice guy.
Him or anything, Graham? Did you try and poison him or anything?
Poison him?
Yeah, because he was so good. You're like, I got to get rid of this guy. Can't have this kind of competition.
No, competition's good. It makes you work harder.
That's true.
You see somebody killing it on an assignment, you're like, fuck, I gotta step up my game.
I think we could do like a TV movie of the week, Murder at the Kubert School.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Huh? I think we're on to something here.
It's kind of like Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short.
And then the sequel could be Murder at Extreme Studios, and we can
exactly.
And then it goes to Wildstorm, maybe up to Top Gal.
Murdering Moebius would be a good one.
All
There's
right,
a through line through everyone.
Disavow.
What?
We move on.
Like Kevin Wolf says, no, he was emphatic about how to pronounce Jekyll too.
Well, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah, he did. He's supposed to be Jekyll. It's supposed to be hide and seek. That's why he's Jekyll.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, that's how they did it in the Ruben Mamoulian film. They called him Jekyll.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that could have been a trivia question, Aaron Lopresti.
Huh?
That could have been an Aaron Lopresti trivia question.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll save it. See if you guys are paying attention.
Well, it's just a game, so we don't care.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That's right.
Okay, I had a poetry teacher say that it was not Don Juan, it was Don Juan. Do you believe that?
No.
I don't even believe you had a poetry teacher, but
dude, what are you doing? You make fun of me in fabric school, and you got a fucking poetry teacher.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, you had a poetry teacher.
Let's not forget
Aaron dresses to that class.
It was one class.
Aaron's from Oregon. Of course, he had a poetry teacher.
Everybody's a poetry.
Yeah, I found the Harlan Ellison.
They took slam poetry to a different level.
Slam.
Let's see if
God, that was a joke.
Aaron did limericks instead.
I did.
What's the name from Nantucket?
If you want to capture the class, that's what you do. I said, this Don Juan stuff, that's all fine and dandy, but listen to this.
That's right.
Man from France.
Yeah. Well, here's one for you. You know the actor who played Zorro in The Mark of Zorro?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was his
name?
name?
Was Mark.
What was his name?
Mark of Zorro.
Was it the guy from Lost in Space?
No, well, no, he was in the TV show.
Oh,
okay. Which are we talking about? The new one with
Basil Rathbone?
Oh, Basil Rath. Oh, geez, who was that?
Razzle Bathbones.
Was it
Tyrone Power?
Who was it?
Tyrone Power was Zorro, right?
Well, yes and no. But
Tyrone.
it's
Oh.
pronounced Tyrone.
Tyrone power.
Look at that. See?
Tyrone.
And you're making fun of me with Moebius, and now we're all finding out everyone's name
Well,
is.
that's because I know that's the Irish pronunciation.
Hey, guys, I've got the video.
All right, let me click over to that real fast.
Yeah, and Kevin Ryan is saying Neil Adams and Harlan in the same room. Harlan's actually in this. Harlan and Neil are in this same movie together.
Oh, cool.
Which is,
Let's see this.
Pretty cool. But this is the section on Moebius, Moebius.
But even if he says it that way, it doesn't mean that that's the way it's said. It's just the way he says it.
Can you guys hear him? Can you hear him?
No, I can't hear you. You don't have your volume.
That's not pretentious at all.
I know, not a pretentious at all. Not at all.
Hold on.
Talk about Napoleon complex.
Moebius. Okay, what he just said. I wish it, because I know you say share screen. You can.
You have
enable,
You have to share. You have to click share audio too at the bottom.
Dude.
Yeah, but when you only on a Brave tab, on other stuff, it doesn't.
No,
quite work.
dude, share it from the Chrome tab, not the window, and it'll play the sound.
Oh, you mean drop it into the Chrome tab?
Now
Well, no, that should be an option. You should, if it's open on.
No,
your screen.
this isn't from. Is this from the internet or from your archive?
This is from my archive.
Right. So
I'm
if
not
you
pulling
click
this off
entire,
the internet.
if you share entire screen at the bottom, you have to click the share audio as well.
Yeah, no, but look at this. I'm clicking on window, but on window there's no selection for audio.
Well,
If you
This
have
is
Chrome
not going to
tab,
be the tiebreaker.
hang on a
don't
second.
click window.
It's
Click
on
to the
tab.
right. Click entire screen.
I believe
Entire screen
I
also
wrote it
does
up.
not have.
Entire
wanna
screen
hear- I
down
have
below. It
Barry
doesn't say
see what
share
Harlan
audio
said.
as well.
No, it doesn't. But listen, this is what I want to say. He said Moebius.
But
But
did he
that's-
say?
but, you know.
Did he say it's supposed to be pronounced Moebius, or did he just say Moebius? And now
Hey, let me continue watching it and see if Jean Joad says it himself.
What part of the country is
I know
Harlan
you guys
from?
can't. He was the first time I met him, he was in LA. Let me see if I can drop this into a tab. You know what I'm saying? That might do the trick.
Andy can share.
And then I can enable audio that way. Let me see what
You
the
know what
time
the
code
interesting
is.
part about this is
3739.
I've never heard anything other than Moebius my entire
Me neither.
existence in the comics industry.
Right?
So,
I know.
Billy
I'm with
is
you, Art.
either opening our eyes to something new, or Billy is just full of shit.
From Ohio.
Billy might be full of shit. All right, here.
Just remember, Billy, I didn't say it. I set it up, but Dan said it.
You just put that in everyone's head.
Okay, you can hear
Teed
that
it
though,
up.
right?
Can't hear
I
nothing.
don't
Tell
know.
me if you can hear this.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
do that.
Fuck yeah! All right,
Jack
let me see what
Moebius.
Look, Neil Adams. For those of you that don't know, this is a documentary from 1987 called Masters of Comic Art.
I love
Hey
the
Dan, on your show, we could just
Wolverine's
watch the whole documentary and pause it to talk about it.
I know. They talk to Eisner, Kirby, Ditko. They don't show Ditko. Neil Adams, Bernie Wrightson, Frank Miller, and of course Moebius. So 3739 is the code we need to go to, right? So hold on. Let's do
Moby ass. Moby
Does
ass.
he have a pipe in his mouth?
Oh my gosh! See, that's what I mean. He's so pretentious.
Look
You can't
at
trust
look at
anything
young
he
Neil.
says.
Look at young Neil.
Yeah.
Look at young Neil. He's so beautiful.
And he had the
Look at
hair.
that. And,
Look at young Bernie.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Where's
here,
Moebius?
here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Bernie.
There's a spot of blood on his shoe.
We have a gentleman from France with us today. His name is Jean Giraud. He's also known as Moebius or Mobius.
Moebius.
depending on how well
You said
Or Mobius.
Wait, rewind, or as
He
whatever.
said Moebius.
Yeah.
you
I'll
better
bring it
read
back.
that
I'll bring it back. Bring it back.
everything
Bring it back.
here.
Bring it back. Look, bring it back.
Well-dressed
Okay.
man standing on a corner waiting for a bus. And everything about him is absolutely perfect, except there's a spot of blood on his shoe.
Raise an eyebrow, Bernie.
And he had eyebrows.
He sure did.
Yeah, he
Yes,
did.
sure did.
We have a gentleman from France with us today. His name is Jean Giraud. He's also known as Moebius or Mobius, depending on how well you speak French. And he's considered to be one of Europe's greatest illustrators.
Thank you.
I think that's
the many names under which he's worked.
That's pretentious.
As a comic book artist, he first
I know,
came to
right?
prominence with Lieutenant Blueberry. It was a vast epic that was filled with all the
Yeah,
myths and
R.I.P.
glorious characters
Bernie
of the
Neal,
old world, which
He
was
Harlan.
fascinating
corrected
with
me
us.
when I called him
In the
Mobius.
late 60s, under
Very
the
nicely.
name
He's a
Moebius,
very nice man.
Giraud began illustrating a
I
line
also
of
like
French
the
science
way
fiction books
Ellison
and
says
magazines, and his
France.
style
He doesn't
was
say France. He
an
says
epiphany for
France.
people in Europe
Yeah,
and in
dude.
America.
When he
In the
comes
early
out,
70s, he turned to comic books with a number of seminal
when he
breakthrough
comes out in the
science fiction and
beginning,
fantasy.
you got to see when he comes out. He's like so fucking smooth. Here we go. Hold on. You got to see when he comes out.
Does he have a smoking jacket like?
No, you'll see. Posted. This is on
Hello there.
YouTube, I believe.
My name is Harlan Ellison. I'm a writer. I write books. I write movies. I've been doing it for about 35 years. They tell me that I'm world famous. I guess after 42 books.
Oh, man. That's it. That's how I'm going to start introducing the show when I do it.
Oh my
Let me point
gosh.
out this
They say
wall
I'm world
here in my
famous.
study.
All right.
That's
so,
it.
Sorry, I'm not stepping on anybody's anything anymore. I first off, you're welcome, and
Thank you.
thank you for your patience.
I'm sorry I said
Still,
For your patience.
still not decided because he said it both ways.
breaking my balls.
It is. It
My
depends on how
French
good your
sucks,
French is.
so I can say Mobius. My
Apparently, I
French is
speak
terrible.
French quite well.
I
No,
do.
you said.
Apparently.
I mean, you said some other twisted shit, Billy. You did not say Moebius. You
I said Moebius.
No.
Yes, I did.
Hey, I wish there was an instant replay button on
How else would I
StreamYard.
say it? Moebius, I said. You know what?
Yeah, and all you have to do is go to YouTube and drag it back, and you can hear him say it.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron.
I'm gonna. I thought long and hard about this, and I had the same problem that Art did. But mine was a little bit different. I had tons of friends, but they all forgot me. And so, if they forgot you, can they still be your friend? So I was gonna use my good friend Mobius until I found out he'd been lying to me all these years about how to pronounce his name. So
Right.
screw that. Screw you, Mobius.
I think you know somebody.
No, I'm going to go with a guy who I used to be pretty good friends with who no longer remembers me, but that's okay. Go ahead and share that, Andy.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Oh,
Oh,
Mike
that's
Blue.
cool. That's cool. He remembers you. I'm sure he does.
No,
Why
he
would
doesn't.
I truly remember you?
He
No, he
remembers your
doesn't.
wife.
Is it
doesn't.
because
I know for a
because
fact.
you're forgettable, or because of how old he is?
Joe Jusko, who still remembers me, said it had to do with his age, but it still hurt. But anyway, so I met Mike in the 90s at a Portland show, right when he was doing his big card set. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he took a fascination with Shelley, as most most guys did in our younger years, and they forgot about me rather quickly. But because I kept bringing Shelley with me wherever I went, people eventually got to realize that I was her husband, and they remembered me as well. If just
they refer to you as Shelley's husband,
right, but at least
You
that's
know?
better than nothing.
Yeah.
So Mike, if you want a good book on Plug's work, this is really, really good. The Modern Masters, Volume 19. It's got some really
Very
good stuff. And Sal Q actually did from New Jersey. Sal
I love
Quatrucci.
Sal.
He did a good book on him as well. But most of us will probably remember Mikey from things like Ghost Rider, or for me it was Man Thing, is a bloopy Man Thing rendition I used to love as a kid.
I love that. I still love that.
I knew him from the first time I saw his work is the concept art from The Thing.
Really, that old? I mean, that
Yeah.
late in his
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Like I said, man, 84 was like a funky year for me.
when I met him, this had just come out, and this is the book that really had an effect on me. If you guys have not seen this, or purchased it or whatever, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Mike wrote it. He said it was very loosely based on Frank L. Baum's Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. In fact, he said he made a point to say how loosely it was based on it, that it was practically his own, story. But he penciled this, inked it, and watercolored over the inked pencils. And this was like, this kind of made me realize here, and this was very early in my career, I was still really just sort of breaking in. And it made me realize that, you could really pursue projects that you wanted to pursue, as opposed to doing what you had to do, whatever job came your way because you needed to pay the bills kind of thing. That this really, really inspired me. I'm a big fantasy fan to begin with. And this was, I had a bunch of trolls and weird creatures. Look at this pig warrior guy. It's incredible. And I had the opportunity to go to his house when he lived outside of Seattle. And these pages he had like a studio workshop that was detached from his house. And these pages were laying all over the place in there. And a kind of a stealthy guy could have maybe lifted one without being caught. But I was too honest to do that. So he'd
have remembered you.
He would. Yeah. Well, I asked him if I could buy one. And he's like, no, I'm not selling these. He sells everything else, but these he wasn't selling. The one thing I wanted. But we actually got a tour of his house, and in his basement at that house, he had like just tons of stuff, like old stuff, ghostwriter pages, things like that, unfinished work. It was really, really cool experience. And they fed us really well too, which is why I kept coming back. And maybe that's why he forgot me. Is like, I kept just showing up for dinner, and he was like, did we invite you? So anyway, I did see him at Chicago like a year later, and I was just walking by his table. So I thought he won't remember me, and I was just standing kind of looking, and he was signing it, like whoever the booth was for the people that published the card set. And he looks up and he goes, Aaron, so good to see you again, and so then from that point on, I would call him pretty regularly, check in, see what he was doing and all that kind of stuff. And then of course, a few years passed and I hadn't talked to him for quite some time. And I was at a Portland show. This is pre-COVID. And he was doing something for Dark Horse. And he walked by my table and was looking at my stuff. And of course, I had banners, behind the table that said Aaron Lopresti all over them, right?
Oh,
and
no.
I turned to him and I go, Mike. And he looks up and he just had like this glazed look on his face. And I'm like, Aaron Lopresti. And he's like, oh, hi. And you could tell the whole conversation, he had no freaking idea who I was.
Oh, wow.
So
that sounds like a memory issue.
Yeah, it was pretty tragic. I felt really embarrassed, but I was like, hey, man, here's my card. Give me a call. If you're in Portland working for Dark Horse, I'll take you to lunch. I'll buy, we'll catch up. And never heard from him again. It's tragic. I'm going to wipe the tear away here in a minute. But this book, The Life and Times of Santa Claus, was really, really had a profound, and I'm not using that, wrong image, lightly. I'm not using that word lightly. He had a profound effect on me going forward, and keeping in the back of my mind, to do your own projects and to create stuff that interests you and is fun and entertaining for you, and rather than just being a corporate guy that whatever job, here, can you do this issue of Avengers this month? And so it was a really, really big inspiration for me as approaching comic art, not just as a comic book job, but as an illustrator or as someone with your own voice and things that you wanted to accomplish on your own. So again, Mike Plug's The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, a terrific book, and I highly, highly recommend it. And there's Bill Stout, but we'll get to him later.
Tease.
There you go. I mean, it's short and sweet, but I actually own one of his card paintings.
I know you told us how much you paid for it and everything.
Yeah, how I was really, I had no shame.
Really just kept driving at him until the guy was finally
I
like,
broke him.
oh
I
my
did.
God, okay, I'll sell it to you.
That's pretty much what I did. It was shameless, but it was like he wanted 900 for it, and I had 6, and Shelly was there at the show, and I got the okay from her, so I went over there, and I'm like, and Mike told me the story about how he'd given his son all the his storyboard work and his design stuff for Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, yeah.
And then his son turned around and sold the stuff. Can you believe that? And so I was sitting there talking to him, and he says, "Oh, I hate that painting, the Abominable Snowman one, which I love. It was one of my favorite ones in the set." And I said, I go, okay, look it. I said, I know you want 900 for it. I said, all I got is 6. That's all I got. But I'll tell you this. I said, I swear if you sell it to me, I will never part with it. It will hang on my wall till the day I die. I promise you, I will never part with it. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I really want to get more out of it. And I go, Mike, you don't even like it. You just told me you hated it. Take my 600. And I kept working him the whole show, just shamelessly. And he finally caved and sold it to me. And then the next time I saw him, he gave us, Shelly and I actually gave it to Shelly, but he did the pencil sketch drawing. It was pretty tight actually on tracing paper. And he gave us that, gave that to Shelly. So I have like both pieces framed and hanging in my wall right now.
That's cool.
Yeah. So sometimes to get original art, the moral of the story is you gotta humiliate yourself just to get the good deal. And I did.
And if Mike ever saw those pieces,
or do it by the rules and get Glenn Danzig to cue over.
Oh,
there you go.
I was going to work that in too. I was going to say, and then Aaron was like, fine, I'll go get the extra 300. When I came back from the ATM, somebody bought it out from under me.
Yeah. And then Mike Pluth said, you got to deal with them. And they said, fuck you.
Exactly. No, I was like, I would have paid him 9. I didn't have it. This was back in like the early, it was like 93 or 94, whatever. And I had no money. So I took every penny I made at the show and offered it up to him and finally convinced him that I would be a good person to sell it to. And it still hangs on my wall. I'm quite proud.
Well, when you're getting close to $1,000, that's quite a lot of money to drop. Even today, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but especially back then in the 90s when you're just breaking in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
what do you got?
Page rates.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me share my screen. Yeah, do entire screen.
I'm gonna lie about a friend next time up.
You should. So when I met Bart when I was at the Thibert school, he was working on Justice League Europe, and it was around this issue number when I was going over to his place to work on homework and stuff. And I remember this one specifically because I went over there after school one day and he pulled out, the blank sheet of paper and he drew the entire first page just while I was, working on homework. And this was when he was Bart's worked in many different ways, light boxing stuff after doing a full-size rough, drawing a small rough, enlarging it.
Wait a second. I'm sorry, Andy. I'm sorry, but look at the size of Power Girls cans. That's all.
Dude, they're smaller than what he actually did.
I know. I remember the story.
Because, so back to, I'll get to that story. So when he was doing this, when he got to this stage of Justice League, he was just going right to the board with blue pencil and then going over top, with HB, whatever. And I remember this page only took him like 3.5 hours or so to draw. And Captain Atom is one of my favorite characters and stuff. And I was just like, dude, that is so cool. Well, long story short, I have this original. He ended up giving it to me. So this issue itself is just for a sentimental reason why I dig it. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Graham, just the fact that he's like, all right, I got to start this next page. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna do my homework. And then it felt like no time and he was done. But when he was working on Justice League at this time, he was you know, he was under the monthly deadline crunch. And if you look at the earlier issues of Justice League, he had a lot more line work and a lot more rendering and stuff going on and feathering. And, you know, he basically just refined it down so he could, you know, get the work done on a timely basis.
Was Giffen working on this? Did he give the layouts, or who wrote this?
Yeah, Giffen was doing the layouts, and you know, I'll burn through this book kind of quick. He would change them up, but at the same time, you know, you can tell where he kind of stuck to them and then where he changed them. So he mailed these pages in, and then like a week later, we went up to DC, and this was sitting on Andy Helfer's desk. This page was, and her boobs were redrawn smaller. It was still in pencil. And Bart was like, that mother effer. So he took an eraser and erased them and then drew them bigger again. So when it got sent off to Randy Elliott, the inker, it got inked the way he wanted.
In full size, yeah.
That's right. So
in Vista,
so that was funny. That's right.
That was so funny.
So yeah, so you can see like this was probably just the standard 6-panel grid, but you know, he just adjusted it. So
wasn't that kind of the running joke though with Power Girl? Was every artist that got her would try and draw her boobs bigger than the last guy until they finally put a stop to DC.
I mean, that's what I heard. I know Bart would always try and, you know, do them bigger, and then they would get adjusted down some.
Yep.
So just because he was like that MF or just erased them out and whatever. So, but you know, so this issue for me, like I said, it's just kind of a sentimental thing because it was one of the ones that I almost saw on a daily basis as he was drawing it. And I really like this period of his work with it, the simplicity of it. Like I said, if you were to look at his Captain Atom from earlier on, and even any of the stuff, he was doing a lot more lighting, a lot more feathering, and just took him a lot longer.
I loved how he did Metamorpho, like kind of thuggish looking, which was very, very different than what we'd seen him before. I always kind of liked that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He looked like a wrestler.
Yeah. And this was a great period of time because Adam Hughes was on regular Justice League, and then you had Bart on Justice League Europe. And I was not a DC guy, but I was buying these books because the art was so great in both of them. And they were good stories too. But
yeah, well, that's the other thing too. They were fun because it was the lighthearted period with J.M. DeMatteis and, you know, Keith Giffen. So it had that whole feel. This was another one I remember being at his place and he drew as well. Actually, wait a second. I drew the buildings on this page.
What?
Whoa.
I just realized that.
Little self-promotion. Taking a
self-promotion. I drew because when at this period of time, it was right around January, February, something. And he was letting me draw buildings and just junk like that. So
you know, Bart gave me a page, I think it was when we were at CrossGen, gave me a page of a couple pages from Justice League Europe that had Kilowog on them.
Oh yeah.
I love Kilowog.
Yeah. I remember those.
There you go.
I have one of his Conan Conan pages from the Salcor Tuccio portfolio.
Oh, those are awesome.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Those are great.
Those are great pieces, man. I love
them. Those are really nice.
Bart gave it to me years ago.
Oh, that's cool. So this, you know, this is one era of the stuff. Let me just, I think this ends with a pretty cool splash page. Well, there's your man Kilowog taking over by
Starro. Yeah.
But let's see, they go out. I remember in the story they tried to get a Starro to stick to Captain Atom, but it wouldn't because of the chrome skin or whatever.
Just slipped right off.
Oh, that's right. I remember this. Hold on. Let's see. Let's get to that.
You know, the interesting thing about Bart's stuff was that, especially this period, you're talking about the line work he used to do. It was all very sort of like flat or diagonal line work. It didn't really create shading. It was more just for like effect. And so I actually kind of liked it when he backed off that a little bit and did it like this, where you just got this more just the black.
So
and
you're talking
white.
about the Eclipso stuff he was doing.
Yeah.
Where he was doing like the horizontal diagonal. Well, they were diagonal, but the lines were almost parallel fades.
Right. Was that after this or before this?
That was after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was after, because that was part of, because when I started working at DC, I did the Green Lantern annual that tied into that, because they had every annual that year tie into the Eclipso storyline, you know. But this was another one that only took him like a couple hours to do, and I was just like, God, it was like watching. You know, it's just annoying being a student where you're struggling over stuff, and it's like, oh, I got to do this splash page. Okay, he's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, it's been like 2.5 hours. What?
Hey, Andy, did Bart ever do a run on the Hulk?
He pitched a Avengers story. Remember when Marvel did a book called Shadows and Light? It was a black and white book.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
He pitched an Avengers story and he drew 3 pages, and there was a 2-page spread he did of the Hulk, which was just, I'll see if I can find it. And
yeah, he would be like looking at this Martian Manhunter, the anatomy and everything. Man, he would do a great Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He did a Wizard magazine cover, but it was just a big fist and basically his head punching through. But the other stuff, real quick, that I really dug was when he did these 3 issues of Batman.
Yep. The Dark Knight.
Because what happened was, and I don't have a scan of it, but he originally was told there was no deadline. So like the original version of this page, exact same layout, but there was just tons of feathering and line work, real fine cross hatching and stuff.
I remember the pencils.
And what's that, Graham?
I remember the pencils for this.
Yeah, for that one, you mean, with the cross hatching and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Or just
Wait,
so what happened was
pencils, Graham.
What's that?
How did you see the pencils?
I saw photocopies of them.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So then what happened was, who's the editor? Helfer was like, oh no, there's a deadline. We need it now. So I remember him going, okay, I'm going to take out a number 2 pencil and not sharpen it and just go to town. And he was doing these pages in like 4 hours or so, just straight to the board. Just, you know, that's the thing. When he sets his mind to it, he just goes.
Oh yeah. It's all in there. It's all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, once we get to some actual Batman stuff, you can see the simplicity of it. Let's see. There's one shot, but
he's getting a little friendly with Alfred there.
Hey, come on, cool. Alfred. Put the cape on, Alfred. Put the cape on. No, let's see. That's a dream sequence. Where is it?
Bart was another guy, because when I went back to Kubert's for my second year, Bart and I were students together. And, you know, he's another guy who, you know, when I see his pages, you know, I was like, he's, you know, head and shoulders above so many other people that were in the class. You know, he was
right,
almost fully formed as far as like his ability to his draftsmanship and a way to draw, you know.
Yeah, there is, might not be. Oh, well, I mean, that's a good shot, but that wasn't the one I was thinking of. But anyhow, he basically just pared down the style even more from that Justice League stuff for these 3 issues, because, you know, he had to meet the deadline. So he was doing a couple 2.5 pages a day to get the stuff done.
Wow.
Yeah. No loss of quality either.
No, the drawing's still there, you know. It's just, it's not just dress. It's just, that just goes to show you how much sometimes we're fooled by window dressing. And for me, it always comes down to how good is the actual figure work.
Right.
Oh, that was one of the shots right there. I remember that one. So
Bart's definitely a guy to do the figure work, man. That guy knew figures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's not go with new. He's not dead yet, Dan.
Knows.
It's like he knew the figures. Oh God, rest his
just
soul.
like Gil Kane.
So, that's right.
Hey, Andy,
There
share
you
my
go.
tab.
Okay, let's see. Oh, nice. Is that from a
Are you
scan that
kidding
you
me?
made, or did you just have to Google it because you don't have it?
No,
scanned?
it's in my it's a scan I made for my
Oh, okay.
I forget for what I had to scan it for. Oh, I had to scan it for Bart. He didn't have a copy of it, so I
Oh.
gave him a super high resolution scan.
Ooh, blow
That's
up on it,
bitchin',
then.
man.
Sure. I love this kind of Barry Smith look inking here.
Yeah, it's like the figure work is still there. You can tell it's Bart, but the line work and stuff is so illustrative. It's not stuff that you're used to seeing him doing. That's what made this.
I love all these broken lines, you know, and your eye
Mhm.
completes, and then you know this stuff here on Conan, you know,
Bold.
That's brush too.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
I thought that was pen, man.
Look at him go.
Nah, he. I mean, he uses microns and stuff now, but back then he was a brush guy.
Yeah,
That's one of the other things we kind of had in common when I met him is I was using brush.
Brush is the best.
Yeah.
yeah.
Was there a date? Did he date it next to his signature like he usually does? Or no?
Where is the
Is
signature
even on there?
Yeah, it's got to be on here. Hold on.
I think these were around what, 87?
I was going to say 87, 88.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't find a signature. I know it's got to be on here.
It's right underneath the.
No, that's the
Bart,
personalized
right?
one.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't see it either.
Huh.
I'm
Maybe
sure
he
it's
could
somewhere.
draw it.
What the bigger question though is, would Moebius ever do something like this and not sign it?
It's Moebius. It's
That's true.
Moebius.
All right. All right.
Yeah, that is brush. He says, all
Billy's
right.
awake.
Poor Billy.
No,
Billy.
I'm in the middle of a disagreement.
Well, here's a $5 super chat from Entity. Billy, it was great seeing you and Debbie at Trificon.
And you two, anti-entity. Or would that
Thank
be
you for that super chat.
Or would that be anti-entity?
Auntie.
Aaron.
That's the French.
I
That's
always
the French
call her-
pronunciation.
I always call her anti-entity.
Auntie.
Wait, but
No.
Billy's the pronunciation guy.
Well, Billy would know. apparently.
Wait a minute. Wait. You know what? I have the worst accent out of all you guys.
I like how you
It's
back
true.
it up.
He
All right,
told
let's
me
go around one more time. Dan.
And Debbie speaks
my
French,
next-
so he told me it was Moebius. You
I'll
know,
ask Shelly. Shelly speaks French. I'll
Yeah,
see what she.
why
has
don't
to
you
say.
ask Shelly right now for the fans out there?
No, I don't want to disturb her. She's.
Oh, all right. You know what? I'm going to text Shelly.
Oh boy. Don't do that, because then Aaron's going to be jealous because he doesn't answer his text, but she's going to answer yours.
Exactly. It's like, why is it?
I don't have Shelly.
Aaron will text her from the other room and she'll ignore it. Billy's
Don't worry,
across
I
the
don't have
country and
Shelly's
she'll answer
number
it.
yet. I think Debbie has Shelly's
What the
number.
hell?
Probably.
I'm gonna have to go to readcomic.com for this one.
Go to Zip.
Zip Comics. All right.
Zip it, baby.
Well, yeah,
Read
go
online.
to that one.
All right.
You don't have
I'll
the
go to
dumb
that
pop-up
one because
ads.
no, maybe it needs to be 2 words.
What are you looking
Maybe
for?
that's what
Or
it
a
is.
surprise.
Oh, it is. It's 2 words. That's why. I thought it was. It wasn't coming up on my server, and I'm like, I have it, but it's 2 words. Let me put it on my server because
It's Moebius. Morbius.
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 There's a new one right there.
Morbius.
Okay, we're gonna use the read online version, but I'm
Get
gonna
ready for the porn.
Uh-oh.
No. It's not read comic. It's like Andy had said. I haven't
You share
loaded
it or
in
no?
yet. I'm gonna, man. Jeez.
Okay,
Louise.
just look
Jeez,
at
Louise Simonson.
Make me big real quick, Andy.
God,
Like
do I have
Andy,
to
take
do-
your
I
clothes
mean,
off.
hold on.
That usually makes him big.
See, this is why all the guys remembered Shelly and not me back in the
Oh,
day.
hello, Noise. Look at
because
that.
because she wore
It's
hosiery
pronounced
and you
nice,
did not.
Billy.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
French.
Yo, whatever.
Wow, look at all that
height
hair you had.
Yeah,
that-
Aaron, look
that-
at you.
whatever the height of that fence was, it was wrong because if you backed up, you would topple over it.
Dan, do us a
Alright.
favor.
That was one of
Prepare
those-
me before I full screen you when you don't have facial hair like that, because it's really sad looking.
Don't
Who,
you
me?
have that digitized on your computer?
What did
Nice
you do to
picture
your
of wife
face?
like that?
Oh, we just found this. It just got uncovered out of a box of stuff we were going.
Oh,
to go
okay.
through. She was
Hold
actually
on a second.
teaching.
We're gonna play that game. Hold on.
This is
Got
like
a
a
little
really
Oh no! Come on.
no.
My wife's hot. No, my wife's hot.
You gotta love the big hair, Aaron.
Here we
The
go.
bigger the hair, the better.
Well, I was just trying
Right.
to kill time because Dan was trying to get his screen up. So, you know.
I know, but
yo,
Dan's so
Andy,
So
make me big because this picture does.
Okay, take your clothes off.
I know.
You're
That's the missus, bro.
Woo!
Damn, son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dan
So
made it.
that's all I'm saying. I just
You married up.
I did.
You did.
I did a good
Wait,
job.
dude, I gotta show you this picture of my mom. Hang on.
Good night, buddy.
Here's the question: Dan married up, but she married down. What the heck?
Hey, a lot of women
Hey,
do that.
you know what? She married for my
I know
brains,
mine
bro.
did.
She married
that?
for
for
your
my
money.
brains.
Hmm.
She married me for my
Oh,
brains,
okay.
and that's about it.
Yeah, what were
That's
they all
about it.
thinking, right? Holy shit.
I know.
For real. Okay, so this next guy, I've told this story before, and maybe people have heard it before, and I'm burning oxygen, so I'll do the quick version of it. First comic book artist that I became friends with, and actually watched him become a comic book artist. We had a comic book store in Concord, California. In fact, they're moving to their new location September 4th. If you guys are in California in the Bay Area, go check out Flying Colors. They're just moving now from Treat Boulevard to Concord Avenue, and brand new store September 4th. They were at their old location for 35 plus years, and now they're moving, which is great. But one of the wonderful things that Joe Field had done outside of creating Free Comic Book Day is he was very much about the community of his comic book shop, and one of the things that he did to express that was keep a bulletin board where customers, if they drew or whatever, could pin up their artwork. And I would pin up my artwork, and I'd come in there and I'd see some stuff, and I would always see this guy's stuff and be like, God damn, he's so good. So one day Jim Lee comes to town, and he sees the bulletin board and says, God damn, this guy is good. And says, I could really use this guy's help on Punisher War Journal drawing backgrounds, motorcycles, boat docks, things like that. And he said, who is this guy? So Joe gave him a call, and he came down, and his name is Jeff Johnson. And Jeff Johnson,
Dude, he is one of the ones. Jeff's one that I had pulled up too, but not this book.
Oh, okay. Well, I watched this book get drawn. Oh,
that's awesome.
From a fan's perspective.
Yeah.
Like I was still in high school and watching a guy at my comic book shop like get the gig and get it inked by my favorite inker, and it was just like, you couldn't believe, like for me, I couldn't believe I was witnessing it like in my backyard, and because Jeff and I, we bonded over comics and martial arts and stuff. And, last time I saw him was in Memphis a few months back, and we got to hang out and all that. But so this is Wonder Man. Jeff, amazing dude, wonderful guy, incredible martial artist, incredible artist. And this is his debut comic, guys.
Oh,
This
wow.
is his first comic, his first, hadn't worked before.
Dude, and he got inked by Terry Austin.
Yes.
Well, that helps.
God.
Well, that's not
Great
entirely
cover.
true, Dan, because he worked at, he was doing stuff at Blackthorn when I was too.
You're right. You're right.
Okay,
You're right.
all right. Just keep
First
your story
mainstream.
straight. Next
I
thing
saw
you're gonna be
those. I
telling
saw
me,
those pages. I saw those pages too, but this was big time.
yeah.
Blackthorn.
Well,
Blackthorn wasn't big time, Aaron.
no, but next thing you'll be
It
telling
was
me is that Mobius is pronounced Moebius or something.
No,
No. He's going to tell you that Jeff's name is
Maybe
pronounced Jonson. Jeff
It
Jonson.
is.
Jeff Johnson.
It's yeah.
It's Yef.
Yeah.
Billy's
Jonson.
losing it. Billy's
All
losing
right.
it.
It's Heffy.
Yeah, Hefe, boss man. So, but this was his first big one. You're right though, Aaron. You fucking called me on the fucking corner, man. Look at this fucking great, fantastic splash page. That's a good hand. That's a good gesture. His anatomy. I remember just thinking, this guy just knows his figures, and he knows how to move his figures. And you know, he got hooked up. Fabian Nicieza was the guy, so I knew Fabian and I knew Jeff, and very exciting times. But I got to watch this get drawn and penciled, and it was kind of an amazing thing to witness this as a 17-year-old kid who also aspired to draw comics, and it's very, very competent, especially for a first gig. I mean, you recognize some of these gestures, but again, first gig, Terry Austin, everything in here is solid. Everything in here is solid. Jeff has always been completely solid. But anyhow, just wonderful work. And his pencils were super tight too. I think after Terry inked him,
What was that?
Music or something.
Yeah, I know it was music, but whose music?
Dan, are you frozen? Uh-oh. I think Dan's frozen.
He got so excited he just froze up.
Dan. Hello, Dan. Come in, Dan. Dan.
Major Tom to Dan.
Major Tom to Dan.
I remember seeing this book, and I was doing some stuff at Marvel at the same time, and I was like,
there he is. He's back.
You froze up, Dan.
You froze up for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were frozen for like, are you doing it again, or are you faking? Is he frozen again?
Yeah, are you? Dan. Dan. Here, well, while he's doing that.
This is fucked up.
Now he's back. Okay, hold on.
No, but I can hear you guys. I can actually hear you guys, which is weird. But anyway, I could see why Jim Lee was like, yeah, I need this guy to come in and help me out, because look at that figure. Look at that figure. This is the guy's first fucking big time work.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he was only a couple years older than me. I think he was like 22 or 23 at the time. And you just look at this stuff and you go, dude knows his figures. He knows his storytelling. I can see why he got the gig. I'm sure what happened is probably Fabian saw the stuff come in from the Punisher War Journal and was like, yo, who did that? And they're like, oh yeah, that's Jeff Johnson. Can he draw a person? Let's see his people. And you know what? As far as like artwork of people that I own, I probably own the most Jeff Johnson artwork, and not in page form. I own probably a good 200 of his.
He did the layout with the ballpoint pen, right?
Yeah.
Like all the layouts with the ballpoint pen.
He loves drawing with the ballpoint pen.
He does. You guys know that. You know that. Yeah.
I got a bunch of those too. Yeah, there was a time when Jeff and I hung for a while. He's a good guy. Yeah. His artwork is amazing. Yeah. And
he's so solid, man. That's the thing, is he's like, you can't really, like, it's kind of bulletproof, like everything that he does. His faces are good, his storytelling's good, his figure work's good. He's just solid, and he was a really a really good dude. You know, like I said, I saw him in Memphis, and it was just like all those, you know, it's just like all that stuff rushes back of all that history, you know, knowing that guy. I think I met him in like 90, like right after I met Dennis Cowan. But Dennis, you know, was this famous comic book artist when I met him. And when I met Jeff, it was this guy that lived literally, you know, 5 miles from me that got in, you know. And it's like, you know, what are the odds? You know, all the people in the entire world that want to be comic artists, and you're the guy that shops at the same shop you shop at is broke in, and you get to hang out while he works on his shit. Like that's,
you know, like there's
was,
like Jeff is so cool. I think it's called Rose City. Is that in your neck of the woods, Aaron?
Yeah, Rose City in Portland.
Yeah, Portland. And so he heard that I was going to be a guest, but I didn't know any of this stuff, right? So Jeff's at the show too. I'm at the show, and so then Jeff comes by and goes, "You want to hang out tonight?" I said, "Sure." And so we're drinking. We're just doing like whiskey runs, right? So like he knows good whiskey. So I was always like, well, whatever's available, right? And so I never thought like there was too much of a difference, but I mean, it was an eye opener, and we just hung out, just bar hopped, and he's educating me on this whiskeys, and so it comes out as we're drinking. He's like, I go, so what brings you to the con and everything? I go, this is just the kind of a small little show and everything. He goes, I came here to hang out with you. And I was like, oh,
that's so cool.
Did you get a little misty, Art?
Yeah, I cried a little bit, and then we held hands and went back to, I think it was his room. And the rest, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah.
They probably should.
Because you don't remember.
What happened?
I don't remember.
That whiskey was so good, you blacked out. You know?
Yeah, it was weird because my dad drank whiskey, and he drank like a 6-pack as a chaser, like every night, like when he'd come home from work, and he drank this whiskey called Black Velvet, I think, right?
Oh,
and so,
that's terrible.
Yeah, I know. And so we did it just because my dad had just passed, so we did like 2 shots of Black Velvet for my dad, and oh my gosh, it was so nasty.
You know what's funny, Art, is my experience of whiskey came from my parents too. And my mother and my stepfather drank something called Canadian Mist. And that was like my idea of what whiskey was. And I had in my mind, I don't like whiskey. Like for the longest time, I'm like, nah, whiskey's fucking shit. And the first time I tried scotch, sorry, Billy. First time I tried scotch was Dewar's. And I don't mean to make it full circle, but our man Dennis Cowan did an ad for Dewar's.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but that's not Scott.
You're right, but I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, Art.
All right. Well, I have. If you want to click on that, this guy actually is a friend. His name's Mark Pasella.
Mark, I love Mark.
Yeah, and so he did a bunch of artwork. When I first met him, I met him my first year out, and I think he was doing stuff with on Mr. Monster, and he was doing some Eclipse stuff. I think he did some continuity stuff. He was just kind of floating around doing a lot of different things. And so when I started working on X-Men and things like that, you know, I kind of introduced him to Bob Harris, things like that. So he started doing some X-Men work and everything. And then he later followed us over to Extreme Studios and did Dooms 4 and some other stuff. So he's kind of bopped around, you know, done a lot of stuff for different publishing companies. Did a lot of Prime work for Malibu. And just Tooth and Claw was his creator-owned for Image Comics in '99. So just a great guy. I remember when I first met him, he was living in New York City, so he was a great excuse to go to New York, and I could crash at his place, and I could do, you know, all the the DC Marvel shenanigans, and just hang out. One day, you know, we went over to Philadelphia and hung out, you know, for the night. Just a great guy, very, very just fun, generous with his time and everything.
Passionate. He's
and
a passionate man too.
Yeah. So he was kind of like sort of a mentor, even though he didn't really work in the business too much longer than I had. Here, I got another thing I'm going to share with you guys.
Next time you talk to him, please tell him I said hello, because I think about him a lot.
They're still in Laguna Beach, man. They're still at the Laguna Beach
Are they really?
place. Yeah,
Same
yeah,
place?
him and Louisa. And I got a funny aside story. Yeah, and when he moved here, I was kind of moving out of the beach area, so I didn't really want to use my motorcycle anymore. I just used it to cruise around the beach and stuff. And so I loaned him my motorcycle, right? And so they only had one car when they moved from New Jersey to here. So they only had one, and I think last time I saw them, they still had that RAV4. They still have that RAV4 from the Extreme Studios days. And so, I was saying, well, you can cruise around the motorcycle, and Louisa could use the car. And so he's like, cool. And so a few years later, I'm like, so how's the bike and everything? He's like, I don't have it anymore. I go, what? He goes, I sold it. And I go, you sold my motorcycle?
Can he do that? Can he do that?
How did he get the title?
Yeah.
I still had the title, but somehow he was able to sell the bike. And so then I said, that was never your bike. That was my bike. He goes, listen, I did the maintenance on this bike for the last 2 years. I tightened the chain. I did oil change. I go, that's normal maintenance on a motorcycle.
Because you're using it.
Exactly.
What kind of bike was it?
It was a Yamaha. It was a Fraga 750. It was kind of like a wannabe Harley V-twin.
Yeah, I know that bike.
It was just a little cruiser bike. It was perfect for the beach and just like runabouts. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's done so much for me in the past. I was like, it's like loaning friends money. You don't expect to get it back, right? So if you're going to loan it to him, you just kind of just sign off on it. So I never made too much of a big deal about it. And I got a lot more out of the relationship than, the bike's worth. I still have one of the fondest memories of Christmas time. I think it was my daughter's first Christmas or second Christmas, and him and Louisa came over Christmas Eve, and he helped me set up, all the Christmas stuff for Amanda. And they brought over some Godiva, liqueur. And I remember I pretty much just drank that whole bottle. We were just freaking ripped, but in the best of ways, you know what I mean? It was just a great time. And then he played with Amanda, did the whole riding on the shoulders and doing all that stuff. And just some of my best memories are with that guy, just hanging out.
Who was it, Art? I missed the intro.
Oh, it's Mark Pasella.
Oh, Mark Pasella. Okay.
Yeah, so he's doing storyboards now. He's making a living doing storyboards, but his biggest claim to fame is this Alpha Flight. So he did with Scott Lobdell. He did the Alpha Flight coming out of the closet story. So here's some of his artwork here, and pretty much at the time made history because they're talking about how progressive all comic books are now, but I mean this was in early. God, it had to be early 90s, right?
Early 90s.
Yeah, 92, 93 maybe.
Yeah, so this is his work here on this book. And
he also did fill-ins for Liefeld on X-Force, right?
Yeah, he did a lot of X-Men stuff, mostly fill-ins on Wolverine, X-Force, stuff like that. And never really any real significant run, but he was somewhat of a fan favorite at the time. People knew who he was. He got around, got a lot of work. And I always enjoyed his exaggerations, his drawing, these big burly dudes, beating the shit out of each other. So, just a great guy, enjoy his work. And then he did do a creator-owned book called Tooth and Claw. which I do think he's trying to bring back. And he swears that's where James Cameron got the what was the cat people? What is the Avatar? Or whatever.
Oh, Avatar.
Yeah. So he tried to get an attorney and sue James Cameron. So we all have those type of stories. So you know, yeah. Alpha Flight's North Star proclaims homosexuality. Yeah. So we got this book to blame. You know, for all of
blame Scott Rubell.
Yeah, that nonsense that happened later on. So yeah, I do remember just a fun story that Mark had no idea what he was in for here. So he started getting asked to do interviews, but a lot of them were with like gay magazines. And so he said, you know, I really didn't sign up for this. And he said, but I did realize there are a lot of homosexuals that read comic books. And I said, well, yeah, they're a bunch of tight guys, you know, like buff guys in tight outfits. So he got a little bit more than he bargained for, but good guy, good friend. Had fun drawing comic books with him. Like I said, my first real friend in the comics industry was Mark Pasilla at that San Diego Comic Con. And I brought an igloo cooler full of beer and shots. And I was just passing them around. And so Mark was sitting there right next to me. We were drinking and hanging out, drawing sketches and just having a good time. So Mark Pasilla is my choice. Good guy.
There you go. Okay. Teen sensation.
Yeah. And Dan, you said he was a passionate man. He's a passionate man.
I know. I heard that too.
Man. Very, you know, speaking of homosexuals and passionate men, I knew a lot of passionate
Wait a second, man.
Wait. Mark was not a homosexual. I just want to.
He was not. No. No, I'm saying
no, but that's not saying him and Dan didn't experiment.
Yeah,
that one time in college.
Let's go back to the whiskey talk. Share my screen real quick.
Wait a minute, Billy was talking.
No, I know, but I don't want to call Mark Pasilla.
Nice, look at him. That's awesome.
Yeah. This was back in the day. Dennis Cowan, age 31, graphical comic book artist for DC.
Yep.
His hobby is, I have more fun than anyone has a right to. A hobby would just be rubbing it in. Last book read, latest accomplishment, drew the 50th anniversary edition of Batman. This is like being part of history. Why I do what I do. If you could live your dream and draw your fantasies, wouldn't you? Quote, zap, pow, f, ba bam, ba bam. But his scotch is Dewar's White Label. Homie, I mean, I love Dennis, and I always thought, like, man, this is so cool. He's got his comic art back there. It's super classy and all that.
Now, is it his scotch or is it the paycheck? Because I don't drink scotch that much. But if somebody came up and was like, if somebody came up to Aaron and said, we want to put you in a Dewar's ad, Aaron's like, hook up that glass. Let's do it. How much is that for?
Yeah, really. How much? Yeah.
Put some iced tea in the glass. Photograph, guys. Nobody can tell.
Shot glasses. I'd do it.
All right, let's keep this moving along. All right, so my choice is one of my best friends. Also one of the first people I met in comics. I got to go with my boy, Lady Brian Polito.
Yes.
I know he's not an artist, but son of a gun, this guy's.
But he's great.
For 30 freaking years, he's made something like $20 million on Kickstarter. It's insane.
Wow.
He just launched his new book 21 days ago, so he's got 9 days left. He's already at $305,000.
How do you get to 305,000 with 1,900 backers?
Because he's got a lot of big. Well, if you go to see the average backer, I don't know if you can figure that out, but he's got so much cool shit that he's got value packs. Everybody wants the big value packs. They want all the collectibles and stuff.
Oh.
But if I can, I want to let's show his if it's okay. Show his trailer. I mean, he's having a lot of
sound
fun.
Shared.
Yeah, I should have sound shared. Hang on. You made me double check now. Let me see. Yeah, of course I have sound shared. This ain't my first rodeo, homie. All right, so let's play it. I mean, and let's do it up.
Hello, everybody. This is Brian Polito, creator of Lady Death. We are back to unleash the darkest chapter of Lady Death's undead life.
You got a haircut.
64-page original graphic novel entitled Lady Death, Eternal Sabbath.
Nice.
A company-wide crossover event.
Satan, is that
I've
you?
created a horde of cultists and hell-hexed foes. The devious Satanist tightens his grip on the world. Only one obstacle stands in the way of absolute Helligeddon, Lady Death. While angels and hellborn clash in the fiery ruins of New York City, Lady Death's crew of anti-heroes attempts to thwart the Dark Lord's plots. But Satanus is a hard devil to trick. A trap is sprung. A shocking conspiracy unfolds. A betrayal rocks Lady Death to her core, threatening those closest to her heart. No one will escape unscathed as the world burns. This is part 3 of the company-wide crossover event, guest starring La Muerta, Hell Witch, Lady Satanus, Chaotica, and the most unlikely heroine of all, Madam Midnight. Helping me bring this hellacious chapter to life is our team. Co-writer Mike McLean, illustrator Diego Bernard, colorist Wes Hartman, editor and letterer Marshall Dillon. And look, here's the thing. This project is done. We just got to print, but I need your help because there is no doubt, without you, we are nothing. You are the engine that fuels us to go. Please pledge now and tell everyone you know. Thank you so much.
Nice.
He's the Stan Lee of independent publishing.
He really is. He's great.
It really is.
My fucking
That's
boy
great.
knows what he's doing, man. He knows his audience. He knows what to deliver. He's tapped in with that whole heavy metal thing, all that dark stuff. He is the fucking king of Kickstarter, this guy. And he's one of my
Nice.
best friends and someone I trust. I'm the kid brother he never wanted. And I'm really proud of him. I'm so proud of him, man. You can go through how many books has he done? You know, hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
Issues of Lady Death. He's doing 4 or 5 Kickstarters a year, not including all of his mainstream stuff and his book. I'm sorry, not mainstream, his direct market books, because he has Lady Death coming out every month on the direct market. And all of a sudden, and also his coffincomics.com website special editions. This is someone that you got to cheer on because he's a great guy. Him and Fran Siska, his wife, are 2 of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. They'll give you the shirts off their backs. And I just love them and I'm proud of them. And I cannot recommend enough to support a guy like Brian Polito.
Sweet.
And he was one of those guys I looked at early on when I started
people.
crowdfunding. I was like, this is the guy, you know, and I would call him up and ask him, and he was always forthright with any advice and how to do stuff, and just a great guy.
Yeah, he really is.
The two guys I asked, actually there was three guys, but I asked Billy, do you remember Comic Book Bash?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was a great.
And I was all up your ass about what is crowdfunding? How do you do this? You know, and you.
Well,
and
I hadn't
Jimmy,
done it yet. Remember, you did it before me.
No. I think you had done some Kickstarter stuff.
I don't think so. Well, we just did the one for our T-shirts. We did it.
And you and Jimmy were who I talked to, but the other one was Polito.
Yeah.
You know, that was all way before everything. So
yep, and you know, Jimmy's another one. We call Jimmy the Godfather of crowdfunding because he helped all of us.
He's been doing it. He's been doing it.
So you talk about, like I said, you get a guy like him, you get a guy like Ethan, you get guys that just know what they're doing, know their audience, and jump into it and freaking hit home runs every time, man. You gotta be proud of them. You gotta be proud of them. So
wow, free shipping in the USA.
Oh yeah, he does free shipping, dude. He ships everything like first class. He's an animal.
when you have the volume that he has, you can do stuff like that.
Hello, nice. Look at that.
Yeah.
Noise. It's Moebius.
So, anywho,
so that's cool.
I got to go with Brian Polito. I'm very proud of
as-
him. He, like I said, he's kicked ass. He's tried Indiegogo, but he's got his audience.
Yeah,
You know?
stick with the audience. Yeah,
Yep, and he stick with your audience. It's easy for him. They pop him out, and they're putting 4 or 5. I think he's doing 5 a year, man. Pretty good.
That's awesome.
I mean, I didn't see his name in the credits on that book. I mean, what is he doing?
He's a he comes up with a story and he co-writes it with Mike McLean.
Okay.
Yeah. So and he's written hundreds of issues, you know. So now he shares a script with Mike and he comes up with a story. So
okay, cool.
All right, Graham Nolan.
All right, my next friend is somebody I got to meet while working on Batman. He was also one of my idols growing up, Jim Aparo. We got to hang out. I used to talk to Jim I think it was every Thursday. He was a huge Seinfeld fan. And I would call him the next day and we would go over the Seinfeld episode and laugh about it and stuff. I bought him a t-shirt that had the Kramer on it for his birthday one year.
Are you talking about that painting they did of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that as a poster, man. That was awesome.
The Kramer, yeah. It's so hideous and yet I can't turn away.
I know.
But Jim was such a sweetheart of a guy, no ego whatsoever, and yet one of the greatest Silver Age artists. Such a nice guy. I remember we were at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was looking at like all the image lines. You know, these image lines were going just crazy. And I said to him, I wonder if I ought to change my style, to that image style, and try and capitalize on this. And he goes, he said, don't do it. It's not who you are. It'll come off that way. And you got to be true to yourself, and then you see what happened with Herb Trimpe when he tried to do that. And it wasn't him either.
That was terrible.
So that was great advice Jim gave me. And he was there for his to receive. I think it was an Inkpot Award. DC had flown him out. It was the only time he had ever been there, and he didn't even go to his own award ceremonies. He was hanging out with me and Chuck, drinking beers at the bar in the hotel. And all of a sudden, Archie Goodwin comes out, and he's holding this trophy, this award. And he's looking around. He goes, Jim. And he's like, oh, hey, Archie. And Archie comes over. He presented him his award in the bar when we were drinking.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
That's awesome.
It was great.
That is cool.
Just a great guy. And it's hard to choose what I wanted to show of his work. But I decided on this. His run on in Adventure Comics when he did the Spectre with Michael Fleischer. This stuff was some crazy shit.
I still think this is his best work.
This really is.
What is this?
This panel here. What's that?
It's Spectre.
Adventure Comics.
It's Adventure Comics. And the Spectre was the main feature for about 6 issues.
Which number is this? I'm pretty sure I have it. What number is it?
Well,
the last issue was 431.
Yeah,
here's
431. It started on 431. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. It started on 431.
Yeah, no, I remember we talked about this stuff on a previous episode. That I want to return to it. It's so good.
Yeah, look at this. Look at that. This ghost coming out there. I love it.
Those are the ghosts of Matacumba Key, I think, aren't they? Coming through
Yeah, it does look like that. I should have referenced that book. I didn't realize it was that good.
That's
Look at this.
That's just great. And this is when he was doing pencil, inks, and letters, right? He lettered his own stuff.
Always
didn't
did
he?
that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All the way up until towards the end of his career when he gave up on the inking and the lettering.
Right.
Yeah.
When the Crow came out, I thought that the Crow was just basically the Spectre, where like the best thing about the Spectre is that he would taunt the person and then he would pretty much decimate him by his own vice, like whatever it was that he was doing is how the Spectre would get him back. And so that was exactly like how the Crow worked. So
Look at this shit. Let me see if I can find the one where he runs the guy through the
wood
chipper, right?
Oh, the
The
wood
wood-
chipper.
It's like a
Yeah.
sawmill.
It's a sawmill, yeah.
This series was brutal, man. It was like
Yeah.
1974, 73, something like
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
Well, do you remember how Corrigan he finally got his human form again?
Yeah.
And then that mafia, those guys ended up taking him down, and they hung him on his own door of his girlfriend's house or his fiance's house, and
It
then he
was-
knocked on it, and she opened the door, and he's hanging from the door dead.
Dude, this should be a movie. This series right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
I can't believe that they have not. I mean, it just shows how stupid Warner Brothers
It's
is.
called The Crow.
Well, yeah, okay.
This would have been better though.
But if they wanted, I mean, they've got like Dead Man and Spectre are just made to be great movies, and
Yeah.
they're not using either one of them. It's just the dumbest thing.
Well, Dead Man's the fugitive, but he's dead, so that definitely works because they've already cinematically have done that.
Yeah.
And then the Spectre, I think, would even be better because with today's special effects, they could do some killer shit.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they were looking at the Aparo stuff.
Yep.
This first panel here, I love the negative space here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the shadows on this character in the foreground, the car with the little cast shadow over it.
Mhm.
I just love clarity like that. And then when the bomb blows up, it just looks great. And then him rising up out of the, I think Corrigan was in the car. He was.
Yeah, see
He gets
that
blown up.
stuff.
He's like, ah, shit. Okay.
That's already cinematic right there. Can you
Yeah.
imagine seeing it on the big screen?
Look at that. Shut up, you dumb
Crazy.
broad. You got to love that. Third panel.
Yeah, if
No,
I don't see that line of dialogue in Wraith of God 3, him talking to Esther, I'm
Shut up,
pissed
you
off.
What
dumb
happens on
broad.
the next page? What happens on the next page?
This is the next page. Guy takes off running, and he gets the ghost pulls him into the grave,
Oh, that's
and then let's see. Oh, I guess he gets buried alive.
Oof, yep.
Yeah,
Spectre didn't mess around,
It'd
man.
be better if it was in black and white.
It would look cool in black and white.
Did they ever do a showcase of this
Yeah, did they
stuff?
have a
You remember the
showcase?
black
They must
and white
have a
stuff?
Showcase to this. They must.
Well, they are doing the art book, right? So that's going to be all in black and white.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but is it going to reprint this stuff?
I
probably.
hope.
Probably.
If they were
Look at
smart.
this guy getting snip.
Oh, dang.
Great. So great.
Jesus, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So great. Yeah. Jim at this period here between like 72 and 77, he was just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, his Aquaman, his Brave and Bold, all that stuff is Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the Phantom Stranger too.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the Phantom Stranger stuff was great.
Yes.
I think he's the only one that made the Phantom Stranger cool. Like I always thought that character was kind of lame, but Aparo's run was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I bought this book. It's because the artwork was so good, and I loved the Spectre. That was like, because I was a total Marvel zombie when I was a kid, but I saw this stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah. I tried to find, I'm on that site that you had recommended,
Yeah.
Andy, and I typed in adventure comics and I couldn't find any. It didn't come up. It just typed like that was the style of comic I was looking for.
Oh right.
But not the title. So then I typed in the Spectre. So I got these images from this reprint.
Sure.
And you know what else? The Spectre looked kind of funky before Jim Aparo. Like it looked kind of corny, the hood, and it just didn't work right. It looked a little stiff. And then Jim does it, and it's like, wow, that looks really freaking cool.
By the way, they did do a showcase. Marcus has it. So there you go.
I thought I had it too. I couldn't find it.
Good for Marcus.
Yeah, I think I might have
Well,
that.
in fairness,
That's the one
though,
I-
Neil Adams did a few issues of the Spectre back in '68 in the original series that were pretty cool. But yeah, it was
he
like
did
Murphy Anderson was
did he
doing
do
the book,
1,
and I-
2, 3, and 4?
Two.
Or
No, he didn't do
three?
one. One was Murphy. He did 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think. But Murphy's a great artist, but he's not, he's
not cool.
Well, yeah, he's not. He wouldn't do a creepy character particularly well. He's more of a straight superhero guy. So Aparo did a nice job with, and so did Neil Adams, for that matter. And they're similar artists in a lot of ways.
I think Aparo's, like, his backgrounds were better, and just his staging and his storytelling.
Well, storytellers, Neil got crazy all the time, but Jim was pretty much on point most of the time with his storytelling.
Yep.
Look at this. Look at that.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apocalypse.
Oh my God. I learned so much from the bros.
I just
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, look at that last panel. That guy's foot in the foreground, and that's just great stuff.
Wait,
That's
are you saying that, Aaron? Are you
Frankenstein.
saying you learned how to say the right pronunciation of mayonnaise bus?
Yep, that's exactly right. Billy brought
it's pronunciation.
That's right. Billy brought some education to this show.
Education.
There was a commercial when I was a kid. It was probably for some type of education type thing. And this guy gets on and he goes, I couldn't hardly read it right. I didn't know the pronunciation of words. I used to crack up. Do you remember that, Billy? They used to show that on like Channel 11 or something. It was like with Crazy Eddie commercials. I couldn't hardly read it right. I didn't know the pronunciation of words.
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow, that is great.
So, that's my guy. Jim
That's good stuff.
Yep.
Very nice. Excellent choice.
Excellent.
We're running over tonight, boys.
Aaron Lepresti.
I'll go super quick here. There you go.
That's what we hear about you.
Oh yeah, doesn't take me long.
I know.
You get what you want, and then you're out.
All right, can I share the screen or no?
Yeah, do it. So I met Bill Stout in 1992 at Dragon Con, and he was the guy that gave me my best, commercial business advice. And he was one of the guys who was always talking me into trying to get a booth at San Diego, because I was always in Artist Alley wherever I went. He goes, you got to get a booth. He said, but if you get a booth, you got to have stuff to sell. And he was a machine, man. He was doing that Antarctic paintings collection that when he went to Antarctica and did all those paintings and stuff, he had that's right when that stuff was coming out, and he was, had posters and prints and postcards of all these paintings he had done there. And he was a guy that he still remembers me to this day, so I really appreciate that. And but his dinosaur stuff, he's done a ton of comic book stuff. We don't really realize it because none of it's mainstream. But he did a lot of his stuff through commercial outlets where he would do comic strips and things like that. Always had sort of a, I don't want to say Robert Crumb, but sort of what you'd consider sort of an underground style. I always thought his pen line. And so I always thought his stuff was really, really interesting. And he actually was he got a job. Russ Manning, I want to say, Russ Manning hired him to work on, was it Tarzan? With him when he was young as a background artist and stuff.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it was either Manning or I don't think it was, who was the other guy who did Tarzan? Did all the How to Draw books.
Hogarth.
Yeah, I don't think it was Hogarth. I'm pretty sure it was Russ Manning.
I mean, I don't know how. Well, wait. Yeah, no, there's no way it was Hogarth. Stout's not that old.
Yeah. This was like in the 60s. Or
that's Manning.
And then he just sort of graduated into film work and stuff. Started working with he worked on Conan, but as an assistant to doggone it. Who's the guy that was the designer on Conan?
Cobb.
Yeah, Ron Cobb. And then Yeah, Bill told me, he said, he goes, if you get into film, he goes, it's super hard to get in, but once you get in, you can never get out, because once they trust you, they'll always come back. And he would always try and quit doing design work and story. And then they'd call him up with a project, and he'd just keep offering money until you go, okay, I'll do it. But he was always, to me, more of an illustrator, working sort of in the comic book industry. And that was always my dream, to kind of like graduate from comics and be like an illustrator that could draw stuff like this and sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a big inspiration for me, but in different ways. You know, you have different guys that you meet, and it's not always about artistic style. You're like, oh, I love the way that guy draws, I'm going to rip it off. But it's like, he just gave me so much knowledge about the business and the ins and outs of the business, and how to operate independently. And so, and he's a guy that we still talk, and just really generous with his time and his knowledge. And really, obviously very talented, does a bunch of different things. A lot of his stuff is, he does this ink stuff with watercolor over the top of it.
Well, I remember he was legendary. Even like when I first broke in the business, they were like, if you ever have to draw dinosaurs, get the Bill Stout dinosaur book. And I did. Like, I got my book. The book I have is probably, almost 40 years old now, from when he put that thing out. So,
well, the funny thing was, he was not a dinosaur guy at all. And he got that job, and he thought, man, I better start, I better dig into this so I know what I'm doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That's amazing to me.
Which job was
he? He became a dinosaur guy. He became a dinosaur guy because of that.
Which job are you talking about?
What job?
The dinosaurs, that book he did that Art's talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
That was a job? Like, that wasn't his idea?
No, someone came to him to illustrate it, and he was like, he became a dinosaur guy as a result. Now he's like totally into dinosaurs. But
yeah, like he was like, if you ever have to draw a dinosaur, man, Will Stout's the guy.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing though? That, because I didn't know that either. I thought he's always been just like this big
dinosaur.
Yeah, it wasn't the case. And of course, this is like one of my favorite movie poster images of all time, was this Wizard movie poster.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Plug did all the storyboards and a lot of the background illustrations, at the beginning of that film, when they had the still images.
Yeah.
In Wizard, that's all Plug. But Stout did the movie poster.
Well, I'm sorry. I have to correct you. It's actually Flug, being
is it
German Flugenheimen.
And William Stute. It's not William Stute.
William Stute. I say a skirt. Well, you Stute included it. But you say food, you say Stute. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's always had a Mark Baudet vibe to it.
The
Wizard.
It has that sort of underground comic feel to it that those guys were exposed to. That's a lot of the comic reading they were doing, in their informative years. And so I've always felt that way about his work, that it had that sort of underground quality to it, except really well drawn.
Yeah, this looks like Stout lost a step. What is this for?
Oh, geez. I didn't even realize I was still up. Yeah. It's one of my Wraith of God. It's my EC.
By the way, did you mean to show that or no?
No, I didn't.
It's not. Have you shown that before?
Hey, but Aaron, that looked really good.
Oh,
it did.
Yeah, it looked great.
I was like, oh, Aaron's going to start pimping, which is fine.
No, so. I didn't realize it was up.
That looked good.
Yeah.
So
looked really good.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, all right. I'll burn through my last one real fast here. Somebody we all know, and he makes an appearance every Wednesday night on. Well, I don't know if he's every Wednesday night, but he's on Graham's Star Trek show Wednesdays. It's Ron Garney. When he took over Silver Surfer, I wasn't getting the book at this time, but then I was always seeing the stuff. So when this came out, and I knew Ron and stuff, I was like, "Holy crap!" He's working a little Mobius type, but with with his obviously his touch to it, and I thought this stuff was great. I just love this stuff.
All the great stuff that Ron has done, my favorite work, I think, I have to go back. Maybe I should double check myself, but my favorite work is that Conan stuff he did not too long ago when Marvel had.
That stuff was the Savage Sword, dude. They released the trade paperback of that in black and white, and that's the version I have.
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't seen
it.
it.
Is great.
Yep.
But when it comes to just like straight up superhero type stuff, I love this surfer stuff. So
Look
at that
Cyclops.
And that was gonna say, look at that Cyclops, little big.
That's a cool Cyclops.
Very cool. And then, of course, issue 125 was the big one where it was the surfer fighting the Hulk, and Ron had a great run on that book as well.
Oh, that's right. He did draw the Hulk for a while, didn't he?
Yeah. Look at that background. That's something Aaron would never want to draw.
What number is that?
I would run
you said
through
that's
that like
125.
No, this is 123 because 124 is a fill-in.
I'd rather get a COVID shot than draw that.
No, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, maybe not. Now that I think about it,
look at that. There was a stoicism behind the way he did the surfer. The posture, body posture, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that I just thought was great. And yeah, so
there
you go.
Share my screen real quick, Andy.
Yeah, no problem. Hold on, I gotta. So many people have screens.
That's the Ron Garney cover for that Savage Sword of Conan.
Wow, that's badass.
Well, like I said, if you can find it, check on eBay because he did. What was it? The first 6 issues.
Yeah,
and they did do a trade paperback that's all black and white.
Oh, that's so cool.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know they had the black and white out. I'm going to check that out.
That looks
good
like a fun
it
cover
is.
to draw too.
It is awesome. So, all right. Well, there you go. That is that was a fun show. We're going to take it around so people can talk about what they have going on before we bid adieu. So, Fraga, you're up first.
Black flag, black flag, black flag. I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Look at that.
That's
And
it.
he appeared just like Beetlejuice.
Let's all do it like that.
Art to Bear.
All right. Here I am.
Come on, he can't do it. He can't do it fast.
I can't do it. I want to share this real quick.
I was going to say, I thought I saw it.
Yeah, so this is for the upcoming black and white. This is the cover. So this is going to launch in October. So
bro, badass.
Hey, Art to Bear, I got to get you on Frag. If you're doing it in October, we'll get you on Fragtober for an episode so you can promote the book and draw some pictures.
Oh, for sure. So I got that, and then I have near dear to my heart, I got a live campaign, and it is called Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff 2. So we have 3 days away. I'm going to play this great Shanthan Jetty video trailer.
Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff 2 is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist Art Thibert. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful craftsmanship. Art Thibert's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff 2. Back it now on Indiegogo.
Do it.
Okay, thanks. You guys remember these books are signed and numbered. Ooh. And also, oh man, we just got 100 backers. So we're at 13,481. So we are closing in on this, baby, the 14K stretch goal. So at 14K, we are going to be adding 4 more pages to this 60-page extravaganza. celebration of my work, my 40 years in this business. So this is 4 illustrations that will be featured in those 4 pages, but there will be much more artwork added to that. So this is just a small example. And keep in mind, you guys, if we don't hit that 14K, there are not, by the end of the live campaign, which is only 3 days away, we will not be getting those 4 pages. So I'm pretty sure
Garbage Man in the book. Come on.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we'll make it. But I just want to be clear, because as soon as this book is done with the live part of the campaign, I am going to print with this bad boy. So we are not going to mess around. We're going to get this book printed up quick, and we're going to get it out to you before Christmas. So that's the plan at this point in time. And also, I wasn't planning on putting the Kevin Nolan illustration in the book, but you guys wanted it, so that will be part of those 4 new pages as well. So I'm trying to inspire you, motivate you to get to that 14K. We are so darn close. So you guys keep backing it. There's plenty of room for more backers. And also, I want to thank each and every one of you. I know everything's tight right now. We're living through Bidenomics, and it's a little tough right now. So I do appreciate everything you guys have done. You guys are the best, and keep sharing it out. Keep letting people know that this exists. So thanks to everybody, and thank you, Andrew, for hosting and letting me have that moment.
You got it. Tucci.
Gonna launch She Gatecrasher soon. Next week we're gonna have the little preview sign-up page on it for our next She comic, where she Anna Ishikawa gets trapped in comic book time, and she has to follow the trends and battle her way through the decades to make her way back home.
Nice.
Tons of public domain characters and one really cool independent character. Well, I'll say it, Lady Death. It's gonna be fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or shall we say, Lady
Dioth.
Dioth. There you go.
Lady Dioth. I like Lady
Dioth.
Dioth.
I can't move my head. I'm stuck.
Oh. We'll make you small. Graham.
Joe Frankenstein 3, The Eye of Ra is currently funding on Indiegogo. Written by me and Chuck Dixon, art by Anthony Gonzalez Clark, the 3rd in the Joe Frankenstein series. So if you haven't gone and backed that, please do. And then right now I'm also working on Escape from Monster Island, the 3rd part of the Monster Island trilogy. And this will be launching in October. So
nice.
I'm working on pages as we speak.
I think what's happening here is not October. It sounded more like Brotober.
Yeah, baby.
Brotober.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very nice.
I like it too.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very
Cool.
nice.
All right. Aaron Lopez.
All right, make me large, and I'll do a show something. It's like I've never shown
make a
before.
large.
Here we go. This is one of the covers. I'm not quite done with it, but this is one of the covers for Wraith of God 3.
You forgot his head.
Hollow.
Nice.
Got a little bit of the background to do back there behind the hollow trees, but
did I ask you what ink you use?
I use a combination of that super black speedball super black, and then like throwing a little Higgins to thin it.
Yeah. Use the speedball for your brush though, right? Not for your pen.
Yeah. This is we'll see, that pumpkin is all brush, and then the rest of it is combination of brush and pen.
Gorgeous,
So,
Aaron.
Cool.
There we
That's
go.
a nice horse.
Thank you. So there you go. That's one of the covers. The EC is another cover, and I've got a third. I'm going to do another Marvel box cover since I've done one for every one of the Wraith of God campaigns. I wasn't planning on it that way, but it just turned out that way. So I'm going to keep the tradition going. And then I have a painted cover by a guest artist who I'll reveal when the campaign goes live, which hopefully will be in September sometime. And but the early sign up is now active on Indiegogo. and it's not shadow banned at this moment. So you can actually just go to Indiegogo, type in Wraith of God 3, and it'll come up. So put your
and it's in the
email address
description below as well.
Thank you so much,
As
Andy.
is everything. So there you go. And of course, KOR-DRATH, The Awakening, guys. It's the second book in the KOR-DRATH saga. KOR-DRATH and Adriana are back fighting the evils of Voradoom. You want to find out more? I want you to take your time and peruse. So click on the link in the description below, and you can. So do that. Thank you guys for watching the show tonight, and check out all our campaigns. We would so much appreciate it. Who'd we lose? Oh, Fraga. He's back.
Yeah, there he
Where'd
is.
you go, Dan?
He boomed back.
I got disconnected, man. I don't know what happened.
Oh my God, it's that internet.
And you guys,
George
this is a
internet.
rotating show, so every week we trade off. So next
week
on this guy's channel, yes, got a great
That's
topic.
right.
I'm not going to tell you yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun. These guys are great to hang out with. So every week, you guys, and if you haven't subscribed to our channels, please do so.
Daniel, the Bart print is when the campaign hits 60,000. It's the next stretch goal. Go check it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out for so long with us. We really appreciate it. Thank the Wrenches for posting stuff. And it's always great hanging out on Tuesday night with you guys. Look at Aaron. He's giving you a double thumbs up.
Great show, Andy. Great show.
Good night, everybody.